Ho, ho, hello, and welcome to the God is a Geek Game of the Year Deliberations Week. If you're watching this, my God, are you in for a treat. If you're listening, same, but only with the ears. It's an oral-only pleasure. My name's Adam Cook, and I'm your host this year, every week, whatever. But I am not here alone, and in fact, this might be the biggest cast, and, well, the intro, if you're watching it again, might have given it away slightly. Let's just jump in straight away to Christopher Hyde. Hello, Chris.
Hello, mate. Hello. You
nice
right?
to see you're festive.
Yes. Yeah. I'm on with my festive jumper, and I'm well up for this.
Good to hear.
The deliberations, really up for it.
Good to hear. And it wouldn't be the same, of course, without Adam Carroll.
Sirs,
how you doing, mate? All right?
Delighted to be here. Delighted. The best time of the year.
It's nice again to see that you are, incredibly festive. It's nice to see you've made that effort.
Bigger effort this year, bigger budget.
Indeed, bigger budget all round. Also with us this year returning again is Chris White. All right, Chris?
Hello, you all right?
Could you not have made a bit of an effort or something? Or
what the fuck is this?
What's what?
This thing on my nose is troubling me.
Oh,
somewhat.
sorry. I thought that was some sort of illness.
Oh, you're hilarious.
Boil.
Yes, I didn't
want to. I've got bells on my antlers. Look.
That's love. Well, you had bells on your ends. Listen, we've got two more people still to introduce, and this is getting more difficult because I'm doing it live but not live. So Mick Fraser's back this year as well. Hello, Mick. Nearly called you someone else, but you're Mick. Hello, Mick.
I am Mick. Hello, everybody. Back for your, what did you say? Oral pleasure? I'm sure that's what you said.
If you want to say it like, I said oral
pleasure.
I'll say
it how it sounds.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine.
We're here.
I know, Mick, it's fine. And also, we've got one more person this year. It's his debut this year, but it makes it for a 6-man podcast because it's only Lyle Carr. All right, Lyle.
I'm here. First
you,
time on the pod. Yep, loving it. First time on the Game of the Year ones. Very, very excited. Also, just
not as excited as me because now I get to hit the button that just says all 6 and I can just podcast and not have to switch between people. Gents, listen, it's become a bit of a tradition, really. We should. What's everyone drinking? Just go around the room while I get my Christmas spirit out and start to pour it. You guys, because I say you can't bottle Christmas spirit, but I would argue.
What are you drinking first, Adam Cook?
That's gingerbread rum, mate, going into my glass right now. Gingerbread rum. Yeah, Captain Morgan's
Fancy
gingerbread rum.
Bastard.
And with the You listen, you don't get to be an elite games journalist without getting a decanter in the post.
I was going to say, that's a nice looking decanter.
Was a present from my mum last year for Christmas. First time it's been used.
Very nice, very nice.
Full fat Coke. With full fat Coke.
Straight from the bottle.
That is how serious I'm taking it.
A decanter.
Yeah.
What are you drinking, Christopher Hyde?
I'm drinking my traditional water.
Oh,
because I'm so rock and roll, but also I'm hoping that you guys just all get shit faced and then I just get the cuts that I want by like.
I'm hoping the first part's true as well. Yeah. Adam Carroll, what are you drinking?
Well, I got told that we weren't able to take a break, so I brought in an entire off license. I have Canadian beer, Corona beer, and Jameson whiskey. I'll be on the floor in an hour.
Yeah, you're in trouble.
But we'll be all right.
Chris White, what are you drinking?
I've got some Steam Brew. It's called.
Oh,
what's that? Hang on a second. What's this?
It's from Lidl, mate. Lidl, fantastic selection. I got some of them. I got some cider.
I assumed you'd be drinking 2 litres of something blue. That's what I assumed you'd be drinking.
No, I might save that weird cocktails for the last one.
Yeah. I mean, stop bringing the espresso martinis out for.
I've just tried to have a drink with my nose on, and it's not happening. So this might have to
come off. You can't lose the nose.
But also put out an epilepsy warning as well.
Yeah,
noted.
Yeah, might have to put some sort of warning. Mick Fraser, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking this.
Fair enough.
Backwards.
So that's the most northern drink we've had so far.
I'm watching the video.
Never led Seb. It's Bellhaven. It's Bellhaven-based beer.
Mick, you edit videos. For the people watching, that's not backwards. It's only backwards for you. Yeah.
I
Lyle,
do edit videos. I should know that.
You should know this. Lyle, I hate to come to you last here because this could either be... Are you going the Chris Hyde route or have you gone the more exciting route? What have you got?
I've gone the worst route possible in that it's very, very icy outside, so I couldn't get anywhere to get anything exciting. So I have some apple and blackcurrant juice, which I tipped a small amount of raspberry gin into.
Oh, well, that's your experiment.
Creative. That's creative.
I thought you were just going to go just drinking it neat.
I thought about it, but it just ended.
Couldn't get to the tap.
Yeah, double concentrate. Gone. Bosh. Let's do a podcast.
The people listening will be so happy to know that we are literally 5 minutes in and we haven't even mentioned what we're doing yet. So I should probably start. This is the Game of the Year podcast. For those who are new to us, that's great. You're welcome. For those of you who come back every year, you're welcome. For those of you who only listen to this and never listen to anything else, you're welcome. But maybe
you're also welcome to
diversify, branch out a bit.
Yeah, you're welcome to listen to the rest of the stuff. We go through a couple of categories a day. Today there are 3 categories. Will be best re-release or remake, nicest surprise, and biggest disappointment. And the categories start quite big, actually. These are some big lists. What I will say, we will probably not get into spoilers until about day 4, which is where we clump together the best story and best moment. So you're not going to have anything spoiled. Hopefully, if a point needs to be made, we will try to give spoiler warnings.
I'm going to spoil everything.
We won't spoil everything. I mean, the thing is, we'll say, there are some games in this category. We're talking about best re-release. So they've been out before. I will also say that at some point you may hear a bit of keyboard clacking because this is done as you see it is how we do it. We work it out. This is our discussions. So if you don't like the noise of keyboards, I'm afraid I can't really do anything about that.
Fuck off, basically.
I didn't say that, but
Mick Fraser, our PR department, ladies and gentlemen.
So let's put it this way. Can anyone remember last year what won best re-release or remake?
Final no.
Yeah, that's
it.
it.
Was it Fantasy, right?
7. Yeah.
And that was made up of Demon's Souls, because of course the new console was launched. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2, Resident Evil 3, and Mafia Definitive Edition. Which sometimes when I look back at these lists, I'm like, did someone go in there and add that afterwards? Because
someone fought for it. I remember.
Well, probably. I think it's the man with the red nose.
Oh yeah,
possibly. Yeah,
sure was.
This is
right.
jam.
So we're going to get into it now. This first list is 18 strong, and we're going to cut this down very quickly. That's how we do it. We go through, we discuss, we pick cuts, we counter-pick. It's pretty self-explanatory if you've never seen it before. So best re-release or remake. The list is as follows, and I don't think I'm going to be able to get this through without having a quick sip of gingerbread rum first.
Of course.
Thank you. Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. Skyward Sword HD. Nier Replicant, Sonic Colors Ultimate, Alan Wake Remastered, Tetris Effect Connected, Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania, Diablo 2 Resurrected, Ace Attorney Chronicles, New Pokemon Snap, Crisis Remastered Trilogy, Mass Effect Legendary Edition, Control Ultimate Edition, Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade, Death Stranding Director's Cut, Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut, Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, and Disco Elysium The Final Cut. 18 games to discuss. Sorry?
Just a lot of cuts there.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's
13 at least.
Yeah, we have to get a category down to 5, except for most disappointing, which is 3, and Game of the Year, which will be 10. So, yeah, 18 has to go into 5. So I guess the obvious question is just to say, does anyone have anything they want to just go, what on earth is that doing there?
Crisis Remastered Trilogy.
Yeah, get rid of Crisis.
Get rid of it.
I like how always Chris goes straight in for the games that he covered and liked.
I know, but that definitely go. I mean, no, all the games on this list are there for a reason, obviously. But out of the others, then this definitely should just be thrown to the slaughter.
Can I
taking these off?
Can I ask a question early?
Yeah.
I don't know how controversial it is because I said genuine question. Is Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade a remake or a remaster?
See.
It's technically a re-release
but that's why we changed
plus...
the name of this category. And every year everyone argues it's best re-release or remake. So if it is just a re-release, but you feel strongly about it, let's hear it.
Okay, fine.
But before we start...
Because I thought that was like DLC, but like...
No, it's not. It's more than that. But before we move on anywhere... Is anyone against cutting Crisis Remastered Trilogy? Always feels bad for the first game cut of the year, but I mean, Chris suggested it, so he's not. Anyone else?
Yeah, I'm not against it.
Yeah, I played the PC version of the first remaster, and it wasn't great.
Okay.
And I didn't play the trilogy, but
as I say every year, this is easy. One gone, just like that. What's next?
Well. I think I can get rid of my first ever cut. And I'm going to do it in unexpected fashion, and I'm going to get rid of New Pokemon Snap because it's not a remake or a re-release.
No. Yeah, I was going to say the same.
I don't know if I put that on there or you put that on there, but it was only when I read the list that I'm like, but that's a new video game. literally doesn't fit the category. So that is, unless someone's got any objection, that one kind of has to go.
I just didn't think I'd hear those words so quickly.
Yeah, I didn't really want to get rid of it, but I knew I sort of had
some
to,
would
really.
say you should trust your editor-in-chief that he always has a plan. Right, that's gone. So
I have one question.
Sure.
Just based on history or recent history of the series, Sonic. I didn't play it, so I'm just asking if it's worth a discussion.
I think I put that on here when we first started this list, and I think I was just putting on every game that was remade or re-released.
Yeah,
because
Sonic tends to be fairly shit these days.
It's not. So that's the thing. Sonic Colors Ultimate is actually not shit. It's a good Sonic game. But like Christ, if trying to get that into a 5 on this list, just like unless someone's going to stand up now and go, my colours to the mast for Sonic Colors Ultimate, like it's just not even. I don't think anyone else here has even played it, have they?
No, I played the original.
Yeah, but like, and it was a good Sonic game. Like not like brilliant, but it was in a sea of very, very not brilliant ones. It's good. It's worth a play, but like we're in that. This year has been a case of. I don't want to make this podcast about the pandemic, but a lot has happened because of that, and a lot of games have been shifted because of that, and a lot of these games have come out because of that, because they were ready to go.
This feels like the longest list in this category for a while.
Definitely. Yeah. But then I'm not sure in previous years if we would have considered Intergrade and the director's cuts. I honestly don't remember, but they're there. So, I'm going to delete Sonic Colors, and I'm going to suggest a cut. No, that was the cut I was going to suggest, so I can't suggest that. Actually,
I've got a suggestion for a cut. Diablo 2 Resurrected.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I thought were going to fight for things are cutting them left, right, and centre.
I'll tell you why. I liked it. It was all right, but it's like I said in the review, and it's like I said to Adam when I was reviewing it. It's a really old game, and it's just they didn't really do anything but put a skin on it, and they could have done.
They kind of fucked it up in places for the longest time. It didn't work.
Yeah, they could have done some quality of life stuff. I know they did a few little bits, but nothing of note. And they could have bothered their asses to do some stuff with it. Not to make it Diablo 3, because that would have pissed people off, but they could have done some things with it to make it feel like it wasn't just an old game with a new skin. And I don't know if that was the point, but I didn't. I liked it, and I played it a bit, but I dropped off it real fast.
I can't fight for it. I started it because I really like Diablo 3, and it's one of those where I've got to the point now where so many games are coming out again, I can't remember if I played them in the first place or not. Like I can't remember if I played this. When I started playing it, it's like, this does seem familiar.
See, I did. Diablo 2 was one of my favourite games once upon a time.
Yeah.
But that was once upon a time.
I would argue that Diablo 3 is, I'm going to say it, this early on, the controversial statements are coming out, I'm going to say that Diablo 3 is far better.
It is.
And I would much prefer to play that game.
It genuinely is better.
When I played Diablo 2, I was just like...
It's all right, isn't it?
It's just like...
Of its time, it was excellent.
It feels a bit too serious, if that makes sense. It feels a bit too serious, whereas 3 is obviously still serious, but 3 feels... Maybe it's the art style change. But 2 feels...
2 is slower.
Yeah.
2 is a hell of a lot slower.
Also tells you nothing. It tells you nothing at the start of that game, really. I would far rather play 3 again, and I was. In fact, I played it on Switch this year. So
yeah, I went back to 3 on PS5.
I'm not going to just cut it because I know Lyle, you played it, so I don't just cut it without. If you want
to. I didn't play it, so
okay.
You can cut it.
Okay, that's gone. We are down to 14. Yes, Adam.
Can I just get to something?
Okay, my opinion's not valid, then, is it not?
You didn't play it, did you?
No, I don't play it.
No. I know my
team. Didn't ask me either, but he knows I didn't, so it's fine.
Fucking drama from the Chris's every fucking year.
Adam, please.
Talking about old games with a new skin. Adam Cook, Lyle.
Oh, God.
Let's get to it. I want to know. Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought that you were going for a different game.
Where are we? Like, look, I never played these games back in the day, okay?
Okay.
And when this came back out, I was looking at like the video reviews and stuff like that and the footage, and I was kind of going, yeah, this just seems like a Pokemon game to me. And I know that's just a shitty thing to say.
No, it's not. It's not shitty. It's not shitty.
The art style is lovely. I get that. It's really
you're
nice.
one of few people who say that. Most people seem to be incandescent with rage about how this video game. Yeah, like I don't know. I said this in my review, and I stand by this. Obviously, that I do not. All right, Chris, there you seem to be smirking a bit. I I don't know what people would have expected them to do. Like, to me, what they've done with that art style is that's what that original game would look like if it was made now. Like the kind of it's the kind of art style. What should they have done? Should they have gone ultra realistic? I don't think so. I mean, that's just weird. Should they have kept it like pixel art, I guess? And then people would have a go at them saying it was lazy. I don't know. Maybe I'm not the creative person that makes these decisions, but I don't know what they could have done other than this to give it a chance. Lyle, have you played this yet at all?
I haven't. It's not been out very long.
No, it hasn't. It hasn't.
No.
So I guess this kind of I really liked it. Like the score tells you I really liked it. I can't fight for it right now. But what I would ask is I can ask Lyle a couple of questions that would give me an indication of whether I should battle for it a little bit. So the art style is the art style. Okay, you either like it or you don't. I like it.
I do too.
There you go. So 3 for 3. You like Pokemon. Adam likes it. I don't know what the other guys think, but that's three people who have said that they like the art style. But that is what it is. They can't change that. The gameplay, what they've done is that is the original game with the modernizations from like Sword and Shield. So some people won't like this, but like you have got XP share on. It is only on. You can't turn it off. They've made it so you can access your computer from other field, so you can swap in and out Pokemon without going to a Pokemon Center, which again in the original game was something you have to do. I get that makes this game easier. Of course it does. By literally the fact that if Pokemon faints, you can just swap them out. But those are very old-fashioned mechanics otherwise. So I can't say they've done nothing, because they've added quite a bit in that respect. Is it... I mean, what else have we got on it? There's probably 3 games on here I would fight for above it, and I think that's probably the same for everyone. And if nobody else is going to say Pokemon,
like if you want to keep on for a bit, yeah. But like, I'm just going to say straight out that like I think even though we have so many games in this category this year, I find it very weird, this category overall, for what's included into it. It's really hard to look at this list and be like, all right, Pokemon, off you go. But then you're kind of looking at it going, we need to understand that Death Stranding and Ghost is on here. And I'm not saying that I want them off the list at all. It's just...
That's a damn shame.
It's a very different thing, isn't it?
It's so mental, like, what we have here to discuss. And you're kind of going, Jesus, you have to really get into the nitty-gritty of the content that's added to such a recent game. Which is
I think... not to put pressure on Lyle early, because it's his first time on the Game of the Year pods, unless you don't want me to delete Pokemon off this list, I just don't see a world in which it makes it past 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, there's just lots of games. I just don't see it.
I'll tell you what's weird about this category in general, right? Sorry, it's just my cogs were turning then, and it just...
Lyle was like...
And I just had to say it. So you've got like Diablo Resurrected, for example, right? Going back one.
That's gone. You don't have to talk about that.
Don't resurrect that.
No. Very good. No, but what the thing is, the games that are just the same game with the reskin, when you put those up against games that have got a shitload of new content and things like that,
but are there any of those on this list?
There is one that had new content baked right into it. I mean, that was the whole point of the release. A lot of them released with their DLC.
Yeah, but so listen. So a lot of these games are also they're now in 4K 60.
Yeah.
Like Death Stranding, Ghost of Tsushima, Final Fantasy 7.
Yeah, but they did have Ghost of Tsushima did have the extra content, though, didn't it? I know it was DLC that you could have bought anyway.
What was it called? Something Island.
The Icky Island. Isn't it?
Yeah.
Hang on. Before we get back to you, let's hear what Lyle has to say about Pokemon, because otherwise it's just going to sneak on that list still.
I think from everything I've heard about it and everything that I've seen in your review and everything, I actually think I probably would like it less than the original release.
I
so
totally
it probably shouldn't be on the list.
Yeah, no, it's gone then. Okay, right. Okay, that's gone.
Pokemon games.
No, I think it is one of those where I don't think he would not like it. If you know what I mean. I'm not saying I think Lyle will play it and go, this is shit. But I can totally understand why someone will play it and go, this is not what I remember. I don't like these changes. There was my son's one of them's a massive Pokemon fan, and he was like, "Oh, can you turn XP share off?" And I was like, "You can't." And he's like, that makes it really easy. And it's like, my opinion is, but they're kind of always easy, the Pokemon games, until you get. But I get it. Okay, so 13 left. Let's cut something. Who's not cut one yet? Chris, have you?
Yeah.
No, you did.
I haven't cut one.
Okay, go on then.
I don't know enough, but I think I do, to say Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania. Because correct me if I'm wrong, guys, that's just 3 old games in one. I'm not saying that's a bad thing.
Like the greatest hits, I guess.
Yeah. But don't get me wrong, I love Super Monkey Ball.
I'm really surprised you're cutting this.
But purely because I think we had this conversation last year when I just threw up Mario 3D All Stars about 5 minutes in. When I think I kind of in mixed head a little bit, where like these are more around when it remakes to add things and make games better, or re-release them and improve them, rather than just bringing them out. I would rate higher, and therefore I'd argue there's games on this list that have done that, whereas this is just here's some stuff together. But I remember I had to fight for the 3D Mario All-Star argument, but then that was because we were talking about 10 out of 10 games versus Monkey Ball. But I don't know, unless people have got a counter pick that they think's more an easier cut.
I have one, but I don't want to be jumping ahead when other people have yet to still got one.
Did anyone else play Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania?
I did.
No, I want to pick it up.
Okay, so
but I'd not fight for it in a million years.
This is the thing. Like, I played it and it was kind of fun,
was all right.
but it also was very much.
It's just those games,
like
right?
Yeah. They look nicer.
It.
They run smooth.
You can now play as Kiryu.
Yeah, and
you've got the different balls, haven't you?
Sonic, Tails,
yeah, Sonic and Tails, and it's quite cool because it replaces, like, when you're playing as Kiryu, it replaces the balls with like the little medicine patches from Yakuza, or when you're Sonic, it's the rings. And that's, I mean, I'm not saying, actually, well, hey, we should probably keep it now.
That's how you do a remake.
Yeah, no, I think it. I will just say, it was really nice to see Super Monkey Ball come back and be good again.
Yeah, no, that definitely agree with that, because I do love Super Monkey Ball.
Cutting it unless we hear otherwise.
I just don't think it makes top 5, right? It's got to be.
No,
no, it doesn't make top 5.
They just can't. Ad, you said you had one, so.
Yeah, I'm going to say the one that's left here that really lacks in a whole pile of like new is Alan Wake. I think Alan Wake Remastered is a game that's like, if you played it back in the day and played it this remastered, you're going to be, it's still a great game. I don't think it's a game that I don't think a lot of people who play that game today for the first time be like blown away. But I think the visual
never came to PlayStation before.
Yeah, okay, but
so if you were on PlayStation, you have never played that. This is your first time playing that game.
Like, I think in terms of that and its price, it's a win-win. But it's offering nothing else new but a visual overhaul, and that visual overhaul.
All the DLC's included, but it should be.
Is American Nightmare in that?
No, that's not DLC. That was a standalone game.
Oh,
it was like it's not quite a sequel. It's like a pseudo sequel. It is. It does actually flesh out the lore quite a bit.
Okay,
but
like
also doesn't.
I think it's a fantastic game. I really do love it a lot. But when I look at the list, I'm like, there's way more to talk about. Like, even the visual overhaul that's in Alan Wake it's really nice. The atmosphere is really set. It's great. But there are still a couple of dodgy moments. Like, some of the textures are not 100% amazing.
It's a 10-year-old game, though.
Completely. That's what I mean. But unless anyone else is sitting here going, no, that game is one of my favorites from this year again.
See, I'd automatically usually just defend Alan Wake to the hilt because it's I love it.
Brilliant
but
game.
It's so weird and cool because of it.
Yeah, I do get what you're saying though. I agree because it's pretty much what I said about, you know, it's not a reskin. It has been, but it was really, wasn't it? It didn't rebuild the game or.
Is this not a dangerous argument? Because I feel like if we cut it for that reason, then we say goodbye to Control straight away. We say goodbye to. Well, that's the main one on the list that we say goodbye to. We say goodbye to both those games in one.
Well, what are you saying about Control then overall?
See, Control, that Ultimate Edition came with the DLC, didn't it? But
It also
the
made
DLC...
the game run better. Like, remember how that game ran?
I mean, I feel quite because I didn't play the original Control and then play Control Ultimate Edition earlier this year.
I platinumed out the Ultimate Edition.
Yeah, that same. That game
remember
is
as well,
phenomenal.
but remember it had a bit of controversy around it because you couldn't upgrade for free or something. It feels like a million years ago.
Didn't it come to PS Plus day one though?
Yeah, it was PS Plus.
I think
day
it
one.
might have been.
That's how I
Yeah,
got
but
it,
like,
yeah.
I mean, I to be honest, I wouldn't fight for that either, and I love it. But again, in this list,
the only reason I would
I haven't
fight
got
for
a lot of. I haven't got a lot of fight in this list anyway. Really,
this is the God is a Geek list. We don't have to fight for the industry to say you should have supported Control more. We did give Control its dues. The year it came out, so I'm not.
Control is the
wonderful
business.
game.
It's such a
we
good
gave
game.
it. We reviewed it several times.
Multiple times.
We gave it a lot of coverage, and it is a brilliant game.
My only point to add to that is, when you guys were giving it its plaudits and completely justified, I love that game. It's superb. You were saying it's great, but it could run better.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I was on a Xbox
superb.
One X at the time. It ran on PC fine, but it had problems, and I suspect they knew it had problems, and they probably knew the new hardware was coming as well. So
but I guess the reason why, therefore, I kind of fight for that a little bit more because now it's like it really does feel like people experiencing that game now.
Is it the best re-release or remake because it now works?
Yeah, that's a dodgy argument to make, isn't it?
And I hate to reduce it, but I love that game so much.
Hang on though, because like you guys, I don't want to be an idiot, but you guys were saying it was great when it didn't.
That's what I'm saying. I don't want to. I'm not. I think there are other cuts.
I said
I think there are other cuts before Control.
Well, I think with Control, like when it was discussed first time round, everything that was said was like absolutely like fact, like the game, everything about its story and stuff like that. This is best re-release remake, and I can't say that like I sit back and go, as Ad is saying, no, it works, so yay, keep on the list.
It was really nice playing that in 60 frames per second.
100%. I played that
really
game
nice.
on a base PS4, and fucking hell, did that choke a good few times on me. But it never killed my enjoyment of it. And I'm not here talking about Control story. Right now, I'm talking. All we can say is that
they just repackaged the game, and it
generally
used new hardware.
speaking, in a re-release and remaster, apart from one specific game on the list, they don't generally change the story, do they? So I mean, that's a different argument. I think in actual fact, I think that the way we're talking now, Control, because they did bump it up to 4K 60, because they did fix all the bugs and the issues and the problems with it and made it run how it should have run, whatever. We're not talking about what they did to the original. We're talking about the re-release.
Absolutely,
so
and for me,
it's actually a very good re-release.
Exactly, you can't kind of. But for me, when you do a re-release or a remake, you identify the issues that the original had, and you do something about it, right? And it's acknowledging that Control was great, but there were some technical issues which have now been fixed, and it's a better game for it. Fact, we all agree with that. That's better than just re-releasing something, sure.
Okay, so the question then is do we all think it is one of the 5 best ones on this list? And if we're not ready to answer that, let's come back to it and let's answer the question. Let's get to the first vote of the evening. Are we cutting Alan Wake Remastered? Let's go the other way around the room this time. Lyle, are we cutting Alan Wake Remastered?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, Mick.
Yes.
Chris White.
Yeah.
Adam Carroll, you suggested, didn't you? Yep. Okay. Chris Hyde.
I've not played it, so I'll go with yes.
It's gone then. Okay, right. So let's hear someone's suggestion for another cut. I haven't cut one yet. I don't think so. I want to ask a question. Super Mario 3D World. Okay.
I was waiting for it.
We're going to get to this eventually, weren't we?
Now, at one point, this was very near the top of my entire list because it's a brilliant original game. I gave it 10 out of 10 when it first came out. I gave this a 10 out of 10. They added a whole thing with Bowser's Fury. They gave you online multiplayer, and it looks better and runs better. Is this on the list or not?
Yes. Yeah.
Because if the criteria is they improved it and they made it better, they added content, then this is massively a contender, right? Because it's
100% needs to be on this list.
Bowser's Fury was like 6 hours of content.
It gave us Mario Mondays, so,
It's top 5.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't going mad before I started. You know what I mean? I needed to instead of cutting, I needed to talk about a positive. Okay, I just needed to hear that I wasn't alone.
I'm happy to. I'd be rioting at the moment if you were cutting that.
Death Stranding director's cut.
There's 11 games on this list. I'd be like,
Death Stranding director's cut.
I think that needs to stay for now, but I feel like I'm the bit one fighting for it.
No, I think I'd back you.
The thing is, right? I know you're doing that. I know you're doing that with your hands and you're pissed off because it's Death Stranding, right? But when it's about best re-release or remaster, they didn't just add a few bits. They've tethered a new missions throughout. They have added a load of stuff for quality of life. They've added new equipment, things that make you move faster around the world. There's new bridges, there's new bikes that you can go flying across massive gaps, which are one of the most annoying things if you didn't have a bridge or you couldn't reach somewhere. They have added a lot, and they've improved the visuals and that because they've got the technology now, but that's just a small slice of the cake. I think whatever you think about the story,
no, that's fair.
I feel that they've done enough to warrant.
Can I give you my counter argument? And I'll after this, if it stays on the list, then ain't my list, it's ours. But can I give you my counter argument to that? He's the fucking director of the game. If it was cut, he cut it. The beginning of that game's written by Kojima, directed by Kojima, produced by Kojima. This is not them adding content. This is putting content that was already there that they cut. They cut that from the game and they put it back in. It's a cash grab because he's literally the man in charge of everything that studio does. So for me, him coming out and saying, "Oh, it's the game that we always wanted to make" or whatever. I'm not saying he did that, but the suggestion that Death Stranding is and the director's cut is the vision of the director. What the fuck did I play before then? Because he is the director and controls every part of it. So for me, it does feel disingenuous.
Fair enough, but it's politics. I'm looking at the game that came out and this game, and it's a better re-release of the original.
Okay,
I like the original. I like this one more. They've done more with it than other stuff where they've just re-released a game with a new skin.
Well, just so you know, I will be releasing a director's cut of this very podcast.
Is that where you're naked?
And on my own.
For at least 5 minutes.
Right, let's hear someone. Let's hear another cut. We'll leave that for now. Let's hear another cut.
I tell you what, it's getting tight now.
I know it can't be because there's 11 games here.
No, but it is. It is genuinely
worrying.
I haven't played 1, 2, 3, 4 of what's left, so I can't comment much on those. But they're probably all going to be in the top 5 anyway. But Nier. What was added to Nier? I never played Nier.
Game. It's a remake.
Right, so it is. See, I didn't play it. I'm asking the question genuinely.
That's
remake
from the bottom up remake. Yeah.
I never played.
I remember
people
the
saying
original.
no. Oh, right. Okay.
Sorry. No, it was released in Japan. We never got it. So
yeah.
I mean, I'm not suggesting it as a cut. I was asking because I'm looking at the list going Skyward Sword. No, Nier. I don't know Nier at all, so I couldn't comment on the original or the re-release or whether it deserves a place on the list or not.
Right?
Does it deserve a place on the list or not?
Yes, it does. Well, it does. It does. It does at the moment, surely.
What are we talking about?
Nier.
Nier's staying for the moment. I think.
I mean, because the thing is, what we do need to get not bogged down in is it's not perhaps one of the best games of the year, is it? It's a good game.
Oh, I really enjoyed it.
No, I did too, but it's got problems.
Fuck it, don't all games, but by God,
okay.
I loved Nier. I love Nier.
Let's hear another cut. Let's hear another cut. And
tell me, I know this game is loved. I know it's amazing. I know it's all this bits and bobs.
This is what I've been waiting for. Do it.
Speak to me, Tetris Effect.
So you keep thinking
you thought he was going for Ghost, didn't you?
No, I didn't.
Because I know. I haven't played Tetris Effect Connected. I know that this game is amazing in all its ways. Don't want to be that guy.
You being that guy?
You're going to say it.
It's not
Tetris,
aren't you?
It's fucking Tetris.
Do you know what? I agree. It's not just Tetris, but I agree that we should probably cut it from the list.
Yes, I agree.
I understand its importance of the game. I understand, but I just want to know if
No, it's
someone
not.
can tell me.
It's not. It's that. It's the
why.
thing. I think.
But
I think
it's
Chris and I
like-
have got exactly the same reason this is on the list. I bet
Then why,
because we both
how
played it on the
much-
OLED, and that thing is still not as powerful as a PlayStation or an Xbox,
Yeah,
and yet it's
yeah.
the best version of that fucking game. And with the haptics
But-
go mental. Let me finish. I will. Let me finish.
Fucking get me, no.
This game is. It's almost like a religious experience to me. Like it is something unlike. I can't name another game on this list that comes close in terms of how it's almost like a religious experience, right? However, they added multiplayer and they put it on the OLED, but the OLED is a specific console that most people haven't got.
Yeah.
I love this game. I think the Switch version is the best version. Adding multiplayer is a cool thing, but I think it probably gets cut.
That's mental. That's mental. Hang on. You said that was like a religious experience. You can't get more praise than that. You
But it was
can't
religious
actually
when it
sit
came
back
out
and
as
go,
well. It's
when
religious
it-
on
yeah.
Oculus Quest
But,
2
like,
when you're playing it in
saying that,
VR.
that's what I mean. I would not be cutting the game if I was saying it was like a religious
But
experience.
I can't fight for it. It's
But this
it's
is-
brilliant,
this
but
is
it's
like-
exclusive to my experience of it and Chris's experience of it, and it's just had multiplayer added, which was also added to the
Which
Xbox
sounds
version when
massive
it came
for
out
Tetris, though.
this year, I think. Yeah, but again, it's
Like,
we're not,
I'm-
we
It's
can't
probably
give it
less
to the
massive
Switch
after things
version.
like Tetris 99 and things like that. Like, it's not like.
But what
Online
I'm saying is,
Tetris
this isn't Tetris Effect Connected Nintendo Switch OLED edition, so we can't keep it on the list because that's what I'm talking about. I don't know about Chris.
So would you cut Tetris Effect over Control?
I'd cut them both.
But we kept Control. No, we had our conversation on it.
Yeah,
This is
I
where-
would, because there's literally only myself and I believe Chris that have played this. We both had exactly the same thing where it was on an OLED, so it's a specific version of a game on a specific edition of a console, whereas
Yeah.
Tetris Effect Connected came out on Xbox months ago. And I don't think I even played it.
I'm also loving the story arc where Adam Carroll started this conversation going, it's just
yeah.
Tetris, and now he doesn't want to fucking cut it.
No, but I'm trying to say, like, that's what. This is the point of it. Like, I'm saying this because I'm picking this game because I'm saying that, like, I haven't fucking played it,
But
but
it's
I know
not
that,
it's
like,
not my
like, I did the
my
VR
list.
Tetris and stuff. This version of it in VR or whatever, and it's quality to look at.
It sounds
But
to
I
me.
still.
Sounds to me, if the only people that are remotely going to
That's
fight
what I'm
for
saying.
it agree it's a cut, and we
Yeah.
should move on.
That's
Sure.
fine, okay.
Like
Yeah.
I love Tetris Effect and I would vote for it every year because I don't know how they made a game like Tetris feel so. I don't know. Chris, help me.
It was amazing. It was amazing when it came out in VR.
Was, yes.
It was amazing when it came out on Xbox as Tetris Connected.
Yeah.
Like the game itself is amazing. When I reviewed it for the Switch, it's still the same game. It's still amazing, but they added a bit of multiplayer, which doesn't warrant being a best re-release. So
No,
that's why
because that
I'm
was on the
cutting it.
Xbox version, wasn't it? And you
Yeah.
and I correct me if I'm wrong. We are talking about our experience of the Switch version here.
Yeah,
Which
And
there is
like,
no,
yeah, on the OLED, obviously the colours
it's-
are incredible, right? But like you said, it's very specific to the OLED. Like not
Yeah.
everyone would have gone out and bought an OLED because
And I'm not saying
No.
you should either. For the record, you shouldn't go and buy an OLED to play Tetris Effect on it.
it's like any great game that would get released with a bit of multiplayer. Would we just cut that because it's just got a bit of multiplayer, even if the game itself is still incredible? So that's why I think it makes sense to cut it. But it's definitely a phenomenal game, without a doubt.
And again, we gave it its plaudits, I think last year or whenever it was. But like, I'm not going to fight for it. As much as I love that game, I'm not going to fight for it. So unless someone else wants to,
No.
bye Tetris.
Can people talk about Ace Attorney Chronicles?
That was the next one I was going to ask.
Yeah,
about.
I was going to mention this because it's okay. So it's two games, and they've got loads of extras and stuff, but they've never been West before. So is it really a remake or a
shit.
re-release?
Shit.
This is their
Oh,
first time.
it's just a Western launch. It's not.
It is. Yeah, they've never been West
No,
before.
So it's the originals, two games together in the West for the first time.
Tied up.
I mean-
it was a DS. Was it DS or 3DS? Can't remember.
3DS. I
3DS
think.
release
But yeah,
in
they've
the
done a
East.
few things to it. They've
Yeah.
they've sharpened it up.
Yes,
It's
definitely.
got quite a few extras as well. It's got like a few like mini cases and things like that you can do. But
But
I
it's
don't
not a
really think it
re-release.
fits the category. No, because it's the first time it's
Shit,
come out
it's
here.
not. It's not a. It's not a re. We can't say, well, it is a re-release because it was out before. Well, we don't live in Japan, so
Yeah.
fair enough. No, fair enough. Fair enough. That one's gone. Right, Disco Elysium. Let's get to it. Let's get into the shit now. Let's get right to it. Disco Elysium, the final cup. Who put it on there? Because I don't believe any one of us. I don't know how it's on there.
I have played it.
Chris played it, right?
I think we've all played it to degrees.
The thing is, right, my experience is tarred, not because of the game itself, but because it didn't work on my Switch.
Oh, yeah.
So I can't really have an opinion, because I think if the version I had, basically what happened was I couldn't interact with anything. The buttons just did not work. And there was no options for or anything. And I tried to get it fixed, didn't get anywhere because we couldn't. Yeah, politics. But basically, like, I know I've not played the PlayStation version, so I haven't got an opinion on this. Although, again, like, I played the original, incredible, and I know they've added obviously full voice acting and stuff. But I can't really have an opinion on it.
Well, this is it for me. This will forever remain the best game I'll never complete. I will never finish this game.
I never went back to it.
Persona 5 as well, though.
Which is a shame, because I feel like it's right in my street. It just never went back to it. So.
7 on it.
So who put it on here? Or is this another one I've put on here and forgotten?
I bet it just got dropped on because you were thinking maybe.
When I first did the list, I just put kind of all the releases, and I don't think it had come out at that time.
Once again, it's a phenomenal game, but as a re-release,
the soundtrack.
We can't give it an award if we didn't fucking play it.
British Sea Power and that soundtrack, such a weird, unexpected combination. But oh my god, so
lop
good.
it then.
Well, hang on, Lyle, you might have put it on there. You're very quiet.
No, I didn't put it on there. I've never played it, so
okay, no, fair enough. We can't have it included on the top 5. If I'm cutting, Pokemon and Tetris or whatever, we can't have this on there if none of us have played it. Right. Where are we getting to?
Can we discuss sushi? Yeah.
Yeah, Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut.
Can I?
Because this.
Oh, no, no, you go for it, Mick.
Oh no, sorry. I'm just talking shit, Karen.
You didn't say anything, but that's fine.
I would not put this in the top 5. Not because it's bad, but I feel like the DLC, the Icky's Island, like, it's great. It is great, as it does add a lot of new stuff and new skills that you can then transfer back into your, the quest you're doing through the main story or the main island or whatever. But unlike Death Stranding, it's kind of, that's the main thing that they've added, and they've obviously upgraded. Like, they've got haptics in there and stuff like that, but it's still it's not massively different. They do have your performance modes and your fidelity, quality.
The thing is,
if
you were playing it in performance mode on PS4, it ran pretty well there.
Oh, and it looked fantastic then. Like,
it ran pretty well when it just got the upgrade. It got an upgrade, didn't it?
Yeah.
When I played on PS4. So yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like,
they kind of repackaged it together. By adding...
And we fought quite ferociously for this to be on the list last year anyway. But again, that's not what we're discussing now.
But this is kind of like Tetris Effect. It's like a great game. It's a fantastic game.
Yeah.
But has it warranted enough to be in the top 5? I would say no.
I meant to go back to this game so many times, and I thought, Director's Cut now, I'll go back, and I never did.
I mean, you could almost lop this off the list and Control, and then only be left with really a couple of points of contention there. I mean, I think that's what.
Yeah,
that's what I think.
I would not be against that.
I think if you just cut Sushi and cut Control, for me, I'd be happy to discuss the last couple and wrap it up.
I think there's only one man that's disagreeing with you.
I just
it's
thought
Chris,
Control
if you
was great.
hadn't guessed.
Guess you can guess. I think the thing is, for me, my experience of Control is different to you guys.
Yes.
My first experience of Control was the Ultimate Edition, so I don't have the comparison. I just have the commentary of it running. Not great all the time. In the way, it wasn't like a terrible. Terrible
it was on PS4.
When it got crazy. There was noticeable drops, right? So, I'm looking at this list. There are a couple of games I do want to talk about before I'm worried we're going to get to 5, and I'm going to go. I want to cut one. But ironically, given how hard it felt earlier, but
I'll make a deal with you.
Yeah.
You're not going to like the deal, but I'm going to propose a deal. I'm going to suggest 3 games that we cut right now, and then we have 5 to arrange.
Wow.
Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Control Ultimate Edition.
Yeah.
Can I guess next?
You can have a guess if you want.
Mass Effect?
Nope. Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade.
Do it.
That keeps the one I wanted to cut in. But it's
Yes,
a
I know it
personal
does.
thing.
I know it does. I am
See,
well aware. I know my
you're-
team, as I told you.
You're
I
a
would-
No.
shit.
Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade.
That Yuffie DLC is painfully short.
It is painfully short.
Unless
It's
you want
great,
to go
though.
and do no, it's good. But unless you want to go and do everything, and let's face it, everything they added is just the same as the rest of the game. There's lots of side
But
stuff.
it's not best DLC, is it?
It's
It's not
definitely
best
not.
DLC category.
And like it is still
That's
a
why
phenomenal
I brought it
game.
up earlier, because it felt like...
I played
kind
Yeah,
of
okay, I'm on board.
I played
I have
the
to
Intergrade
agree
thing
with
and I liked it, but it was very short.
Yeah.
And then I thought, I'll load up my save, and I'm like, I'm not going to do this, am I? There's just no way.
No.
They did add a new ending to it, which I'll never see. And that, to me, I don't like that, actually.
No,
because this isn't a
this
game
feels
from
like
10 years
pandering.
ago. This is a game that was out recently. And they're already retconning it.
Hmm.
When they retconned it in the first place for the remake. Like, you get at some point you have to settle on what you're doing with your story. And that, actually, the fact that they changed the ending left me a little concerned, because after I've made my peace with the game and been like, okay, now this is not my Final Fantasy, not my Final Fantasy.
Oh,
You know what I mean,
there you
though?
go.
This
Hashtag
is
not my Final Fantasy.
Yeah, you know what I mean, though. This is not. But then I'm not getting angry about that, because the original game still exists. I'll never be one of those guys. I can go play the original. It still exists. It's still great. It's still fantastic. It's got great turn-based combat. Blah blah blah. This, not only did they change the story, it got to the point where I was actually like, okay, I actually have changed my mind on this. I am fine with this. I'm really excited to see part 2. And then they changed the ending again. It's like, so do you not know what you're doing? So I didn't feel it was a positive change. The Intergrade thing was fun, very short, to the point where I was like, oh, we're done then. Okie dokie. So that's a shame, because I was enjoying that, which is...
Yeah, it's like 5 or 6 hours compared to the.
I don't even know if it was
45
that. I
hours.
think I did it in a 3-hour sitting. It was 5-6 hours if you did everything. I mean, I
think
quite
I did
liked the
2
mini game.
sittings to finish
I quite liked the mini game with the kind of what was it? It was like almost like a Clash Royale style mini game.
I didn't like that. That pissed me
No,
off.
and a lot of people didn't, because it wasn't very well done. Truth be told, I just enjoyed it because it's more Final Fantasy stuff. But for me, cut them 3. You got 5 games. I think everyone feels pretty strongly about.
And one left in the top 5 we haven't even discussed.
No, we haven't. 2 we haven't discussed. We
Two
haven't
we
discussed
haven't
Mass
discussed,
Effect,
actually.
or
I think that's
Skyward
probably the
Sword.
group's top 5. It wouldn't be mine, but yeah.
and that's why I haven't gone into.
I haven't got much more of an argument for you though. I think that's I'm happy to do that.
I understand why that would be the top 5, and I
You still get to have your say on it.
I will
It's not
later,
a done
yeah.
deal. Okay.
No, I think so. It's difficult because I want to save stuff for later, but I can see why it would those 5 would be in the 5.
So let's put it this way. If we do this cut that I've suggested, that leaves us with the top 5 to a range of Super Mario 3D World, Skyward Sword HD, Nier Replicant, Mass Effect Legendary Edition, and Death Stranding Director's Cut. Yep. Listen.
Yeah, do it.
Yep. Go on then.
Yeah.
Then let's get into the nits and
I was
grits
just
of the
waiting because I
order.
really thought you were going to go, well, what about if we cut Death Stranding and keep control?
I can't believe it's on the list.
No,
Nor can I.
It's amazing.
I'd cut something else before Control, and you know what it is.
Yes. Well, say it. Let's speak
Well,
now or
okay,
forever hold, as it were.
if this is the 5, I'd put Skyward Sword HD at 5.
Death Stranding. Yes.
See, I didn't play
Skyward Sword
Skyward
HD
Sword
wouldn't make my
HD.
5.
Yeah, I've only played the original Skyward Sword, and I really love it, but I don't know if that really helps the situation.
Probably means you wouldn't be in my camp.
You could have said this earlier, before he locked them off the list. You had your chance, and you fucked it up.
No, because
Beautifully
I
said.
know, because I believe that's a better 5 for the group.
They
But I
did
would-
more with Skyward Sword than they did with Control.
Yeah,
with Final
they
Fantasy.
did.
They did more. They added controls to it.
Yeah, and that's why I can accept it being in the list because of the things they did do. But
Are
I'll
you
talk
really
about it
saying
more
you would
later.
put Death Stranding Director's Cut in 4th, let's say, above Skyward Sword HD, as in getting...
I would, because it wouldn't make
Yes,
my
but the thing
5,
is so would
whether
Adam, I
you guys
suspect, and
would.
so would Chris. So I'm shit out of luck if you're going that route with it.
So would I, to be fair, because
So
I haven't
would
played
Beck,
There you go,
Skyward
then,
Sword.
right, okay.
To put it in 5. And...
I can't
I mean, I think we
believe
should
this
really
is
be
happening
putting Death Stranding
again.
at number 1.
No, we shouldn't. But the thing
So-
is, right? The thing
so
is, now
I-
you've got me looking at it going, well, actually,
Can
we
I-
haven't
can I
even
make a
talked about Mass
suggestion?
Effect.
Can I make
No,
a
we didn't
suggestion?
even discuss Mass
We
Effect.
need to talk about it, but can I just make a quick before we do? Can I make a suggestion that
Yeah.
I would flip 2 and 3, and that would be what I'd have. But anyway, that's how I feel about it.
I feel that
Do you know
those
what?
watching on video should just
I
know that
completely
Adam Carroll
agree.
is not asleep or bored. I believe he's looking at the list off screen because
I'm looking at the list.
I know you are.
Guys,
But I
If
just,
anyone
I
is
just,
watching this, yeah,
yeah, you're
I have my
just
list
Oh.
right here, so I'm just looking.
He's not spoken for a
like
while.
there's something really interesting happening over there because he is just shit. No, I knew. I just feel like I should mention that.
I could
There's
watch
a
a
lot
break
of
off.
debating going on here in my head. That's all.
No, I could see it. That's
Um,
why I thought I better because it looked like you might have nodded off because you were very still as well. You were really like,
Sorry.
no,
Apologies.
it was funny. I just
So, from what you guys said about Nia, I'm surprised you're not pushing that for the top.
Do you know what,
spot.
Mick?
That
So am
seems to
I.
have had
Well, for
more
number
of
2.
yeah. I mean,
I mean,
Mass Effect, right? Right.
Yeah.
If they released Mass Effect 1 as a re-release and have done what they've done with it, it would still be high on this list,
yeah.
right? Because they completely changed it. They made it playable like the second and third games, and they changed the UI. They altered the driving mechanics of the Mako. Like it's a great remake visually as well, audio, everything. But not only that, you get 2 and 3 as well with some like not massive changes, but you've got the whole trilogy in one game. Like, yes, it does feel slightly dated, but it's a phenomenal package. And I think you can't not have this in the top 3 at least.
Yeah.
Like it's my number 2. And it 100% deserves to be up there.
Can I just? Oh, so 4 and 5 at the moment are 5 Skyward Sword, 4 Death Stranding. Are we all in agreement that those 2 are the 4 and 5?
I'm waiting for Adam
No.
Carroll. I was gonna say he's not.
Okay. What's wrong with it? What's incorrect there?
I fucking love Death Stranding.
Oh, I thought you were gonna go in Skyward Sword. Sorry.
So my thing with Skyward Sword is, look, that's just a given. Like, I just love it, but I don't think the added controls that they put in really helps that game's criticism, because I did play those controls. I was like, oh yeah, it's fine, and even like the motion ones, I was like, yeah, it is what it is. That game, unfortunately, kind of shat itself with its control scheme, and it didn't fully sort it out. It's definitely the definitive way of playing Skyward Sword. Hands down, is this new version, the HD one.
But are you not agreeing that it's 5 then?
No, I think it's 5, but I'm
Okay.
getting to my point.
Oh, sorry.
With Skyward,
it's ramping up.
because
Fucking
I know,
hold on to your
I know,
hats.
like as Chris said, they'd be thinking I'd be fighting with Skyward. Stranding. The thing about Stranding is everything you're saying, Ed. I totally agree. I'm here again with you, 2nd year in a row. The Stranding conversation is here. I think that alone is just hilarious that we're here talking about this game again.
Yep.
And next year in the director's cut.
Yeah, and I think all that you say about like being a cash grab, all that shit, right? I will not disagree with you. I'm like, yeah, cool. Thing about it is, booting up director's cut, I was just like, look at this game again. Like, I was floored once again by how it looked.
Looked like that on
And
PC,
then-
by the way.
Huh?
Looked like that when they released it on PC without the director's cut.
Fantastic. I have enough consoles as it is. The thing about it is, though, the stuff that they left out and then brought into for this director's cut, I was like, this is fucking fun. This is just wild. And I don't know if that shit was intentional. It obviously kind of was, I guess. But I can't say that I played the director's cut and went, oh, they fucking made a bags of this anyway. this is all over the shop. Why did they add that in? Why? There's just so much more stuff.
Generally,
like,
when a director cuts things from the scene, it's for from the story. It's for running time, isn't it? And it's story. It's stuff that they like. When you get the director's cut, you get like a more fleshed out story.
It's different with games, though, isn't it? With games, I feel like director's cut's just bullshit for we've added new stuff in or we.
But he is the
finished
director.
it.
I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk about Kojima. I don't want to talk about him. I know this is his game. I think his name makes this game fall down, and it's very fucking annoying.
They added
because
like a couple of bits to it though.
There's
a
loads
lot.
bits.
What
There's
they added a thing that lets you throw your cargo nowhere near far enough, but just a bit over a river, which devalues the journey of the game. The whole point is the struggle.
They've added things to improve traversal. They've added the shooting range, the driving range. They've added new missions. They've upgraded the visuals.
But all that stuff about the traversal is surely against what makes that game good in the first place. The thing I would say is you wrestle with the controls in that game. You wrestle with the terrain in that game. To make it not the case, what's the fucking point of that game then? If I can just chuck my cargo across
the option if you want to do it. It's stopping people who will complain from day one that like this is shit walking around the place. He was like, "Well, there you go, do this stuff. Fire your shit across the place." And
would have been nice if he'd actually done that with the story, though, wouldn't it? Like to actually make some directors, being the writer and director, to actually improve that.
I think, like, with this game coming back out again in this form, right? It's kind of hilarious that like I've seen so many people now come to terms with it and be like, it's actually pretty good. Oh yeah, it's actually.
The game was never bad. The story is fucking garbage dog shit written by an egomaniac.
I like the story.
I don't say you can't like it. Right,
I know.
Look, this is pointless. We did this last year. What number are you putting Death Stranding at? It's in the top 5. What number are you putting Death Stranding at?
Focus.
I agree there.
I'm fine with 2 or 3. I know it sounds
There ain't
insane.
enough rum in this fucking decanter.
Can I just say, but I wouldn't
Never
change
thought
the
I'd
list
say that
as
sentence
is.
out loud, actually.
I was going to say, is it worth
thought.
going around and seeing what order people?
I personally would. That for me, I'd lock that list and call it a day. For me personally, and I haven't played
any of them.
Mario.
So hang on. So you're saying 2 or 3, Adam?
Yeah.
What's the other? What's
Do you want to know my top 3?
Yeah. I think that's
top 3.
yeah.
For me, it's 3D World is getting #1 spot because of Bowser's Fury. Basically, I think that is just phenomenal, and it's Mass Effect and Stranding then. But Mass Effect for me is kind of that thing where I'm like, it's just great for fucking BioWare to actually release these games and for everyone just to for a while go, oh, BioWare, you released these games and you made these games and they're great and whatever. Because BioWare have just had such a rough time for a long time now.
Okay. Let me ask a different question. Are we all agreeing, because I think we are, that 1 and 5, as we currently have it, are 1 and 5?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I can then bold them and
those
we can.
mothers.
Okay, Chris White, you love both Death Stranding, Mass Effect. Sorry, all 3 actually. These 3. You are a big fan of all 3 of these games we have not yet bolded: Nier Replicant, Mass Effect Legendary, Death Stranding. So, what say you on this subject?
I say that 4 is Nier, 3 is Death Stranding, 2 is Mass Effect.
Love you, Chris.
Sorry, so 2 Mass Effect.
2 Mass Effect, 3 Death Stranding, 4 Nier.
Chris Hyde?
So 2 Mass Effect, 3 Nier, 4 Death Stranding.
I'm sorry, Adam. I'm not ignoring you, Lyle or Mick. What did you say your number 2 was again? What did you say your top 3 were again? Mario, Death Stranding, and was Mass Effect. So it sounds to me, before we even get to Mick and Lyle, or myself, Mass Effect's number 2.
And then it's just deciding whether Nier Replicant or Death Stranding.
Yeah.
And I say that knowing that Mick would never disagree with Mass Effect doing well in anything because he loves Mass Effect. But that's.
I need to just point out that I haven't played Mass Effect.
No,
but
I know,
I have
but
my
you've seen it all the
proxy
way
for
through,
about 100 hours because it's the only thing my wife played all fucking year.
Yeah, and it's just a phenomenal package.
So I know all about it.
It's twice.
Having watched it.
Twice that someone said the phenomenal package.
Yeah.
Right, so. Okay. 1, 2, and 5. Do we all agree? Sorry, Lyle and Mick. Do we all agree? 1, 2,
Yeah, I
and 5?
do. I'm happy. Yeah,
Sure.
I've got no dog in this
Yeah.
fight.
Right. Now, I hate to be the guy to ask this, and I've never asked this on this podcast before, ever. I'm almost breaking my own self-inflicted rules. This is the moment where any one of you 6, myself included, does anyone here genuinely either not care or not mind which order these last 2 go in?
I genuinely don't care.
Okay. And I
only care
the
about
alcohol.
2 games on the list, and so
you didn't have to say that. I mean, just a yes or no would have been.
I fucking hate games. Kojima's my dad. I just
Nier Replicant for me is wonderful because of the way they remade it. It feels great. It's Nier. Like, what's not to like? It's not as good as Automata, and it suffers because it's a remake for me in that they kept some design decisions that were in the original and are still in the remake, and it suffers because of them. And this is a long-winded way of me saying, fine, if you fuckers want Death Stranding at 3, I will concede that place. That's me, man, then fine. But I will also ask you to fucking remember that in 10 hours' time of podcasting.
But hang on, you could have. So, Lyle, which way around would you have put these 2?
I'd have had Nier above Death Stranding.
So would I. So
Just
before we
from-
start
Who asked him on this
conceding,
podcast? Because it's fucked it all up now.
what?
Who asked Lyle on this podcast?
No,
It was
because
you,
if you
wasn't
had
it?
just shut,
You
if you
wanted
just
him on
shut
it.
your mouth, we'd have won 3-2 because Mick abstained, and we could have kept it.
So Lyle's saying Nier Replicant above.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's saying,
okay.
yeah.
Mick's
As am I.
abstaining. Chris White.
Death Stranding, 3rd.
We know Adam Carroll. Chris Hyde.
Yeah, Nier Replicant above Death Stranding. Yeah.
So what? Is it even?
Yeah.
Are we flipping a coin?
I've got the deciding vote, are you saying?
Yes.
You've got to decide in both.
Adam,
I wonder what's going.
What way are you going to put Death Stranding?
I wonder what he's going to do.
This is terrible.
This is superb.
It's the worst game of the year ever.
Oh, he's
What?
been magnanimous about it. Look,
I'm surprised.
Wow.
But fair
Nier
enough.
Replicant number 4.
Adam Cook is a phenomenal package.
I really loved Nier Replicant, and then I just really didn't. And I don't know how far into it I got. I remember once you get...
Kojima's a genius.
Never said that and never will. Well, no, I mean, he must be, actually, because everyone loves him. But Nier Replicant really falls over for me once you get into some of the stuff that they kept from that original. It really falls down, like the stuff when you start going to the desert and there's the sandstorms and stuff. It really falls down to me. Some of the puzzle combat sections are really peculiar, and not in that kind of Nier's cool kind of way. They are peculiar in that, oh, this was designed a long time ago. I still think it's a good video game. It's number 4 on this list. But
You like chucking shit over rivers more, don't you? So that's...
yeah. In reverse order, best re-release or remake. Number 5, The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD. Nier Replicant is 4th. Death Stranding Director's Cut is number 3. Mass Effect Legendary Edition number 2. Just for the record, I thought that was going to get cut ages ago. Mass Effect. I didn't realise... You forget how much people love that game. And the best re-release or remake of 2021 is Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury.
And we barely had to talk
Infuriatingly
about
named
it.
Plus Bowser's Fury. I suspect we will. So the shortlist for Nicest Surprise then is, and this is again some list. Let's just get going. Psychonauts 2, WarioWare Get It Together, New World, Monster Hunter Stories 2, Wings of Ruin, Tales of Arise, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, Knockout City, Dodgeball Academia, Grime, Death's Door, FIFA 22, Lost in Random, Hot Wheels Unleashed, Halo Infinite, Outriders, Pokemon Unite, Aliens Fireteam Elite, Life is Strange True Colors, Microsoft Flight Simulator on Xbox, Axiom Verge 2, It Takes Two, Scarlet Nexus, Knockout City's going to have to come off there because it's on there twice. So I'll get rid of that. Fist, forget, it says here, Forged, Fist, Forged in Shadow
Autocorrect.
Torch,
Forget.
Metroid Dread, Unpacking, The Forgotten City, Ruined King, A League of Legends Story.
Only
Well, to
27.
off that.
The fuck is Aliens doing?
I don't know. I assumed you put it on there.
You
I didn't put that there.
You literally did the I'm Ron Burgundy moment when you read that one out. I was like, that's not good straight away. The nice. Yeah, no, cut
Who
that.
put it on there?
I don't know. There's
Not me.
Is it? We cutting it?
Yeah.
No, I put it on there, and this I put it on there with a view to cutting it because I think it's the only time this is going to come up in the whole year. It's, at the end of the day, this is a
And
celebration
we didn't
of
talk
the year.
once about it. We're cutting it. Done.
It will come up in biggest disappointment. Don't worry.
It's
No,
not.
we did. We had fun with it. Me,
I
and
think it should be number one because the actual
It's
surprise
not
with it was
shit.
on this list.
Yeah,
Because everyone went, it's on the list.
it's
look,
not shit.
It's not shit. It's not the best Aliens game, but it's not shit. Bye bye, Aliens Fireteam. You had your moment. Next.
Lost in random.
Yes, Chris.
Yeah. I don't know why that's on here.
Like, it was all right, but it was.
We shall talk about it later.
Yeah.
I don't know
I
why it's
think-
on. What's the surprise part of it? Is it?
I can only assume people didn't know it was going to be coming, and because I didn't, it was kind of not on my radar.
Cutting
But
it?
it's not nice a surprise for me at all.
Anyone?
Not compared to some of the belters on this list, anyway.
I'm going to throw another one out there real quick. FIFA 22.
Yeah, fuck.
I was just about to ask why that's on there. Did that surprise people?
I imagine.
FIFA!
No, obviously the fact that it's
You
football
do
is
this
not
every
surprising
year.
people.
It's the fact it's not shit. It's the fact that they literally have no competition now, really,
No, I
to
did-
speak of.
What do you mean?
and-
I do this every
No, not
year.
you, Mick.
Oh, right.
Mick.
Okay.
Sorry,
I
you
was
can't
like,
see where I'm
what?
pointing. No, Mick does this every year. Or it's really, or Adam. It's one of the two of them. They always do it. FIFA's not surprising. Blah, blah, blah. But it's like it's
No, no,
surprising
no.
it's not shit because they have no competition and it's a really good video game. But it's not nice.
But hang on.
They have made.
Is
lots
it the nicest
No,
surprise?
no,
No,
no.
I will
Hasn't-
say they've made lots of improvements this year and some additions that have actually stuck.
But it's not
no,
nice.
Should have been a fucking
it's not
best
going to get
re-release
top
then, shouldn't
5. But
I judge the FIFA situation off the back of, which is 90% of my buds who play it, and I just hear, yeah. And once I get that fucking yeah, I'm like, then you just bought pretty much a FIFA game that isn't really blowing your socks off as much as that one year that I keep forgetting. It might have been 2 years ago. It was that year that like both a fucking FIFA and PES were really good, and everyone was kind of like, oh shit, it's actually really, really, really good. And then they bottled it again the following year. Not bottled it, but made.
No, I got you.
So,
FIFA's gone. FIFA's gone. Let's get some order back into here, and let's talk about some cuts. Has anyone got anything they want to cut from this list as it stands?
Why is Microsoft Flight Simulator on there as a nice surprise?
I don't know.
Not that I want to punch that game in the throat every time
no,
I play
was
it.
anyone surprised?
Is it just that it ran really well on console as well? Then I guess.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I genuinely don't know who put it
No.
on there, but
Yeah, I was.
I'm not
surprised by
sure
that
what it is as a surprise because it was on PC.
I
We knew
would
it was
argue
coming to
it's not a
Xbox.
game.
Well, yeah, I'd also argue that as well,
Oh, thank you.
and I'd also I'd have to argue it between throat punches.
Yeah, I mean, I've got to find. this game never worked for me. It never worked
It
for me on
didn't work for
PC,
me
and when
when
it
I
came on
tried it.
Xbox, I'm like, I'm going to try it. It didn't work for me on Xbox either.
No,
it just
and then I
won't
just
work.
crashed into the ground, and
Yeah.
then it didn't
So
didn't kill me. So I just
See,
started
on
fiddling
I
along the ground.
reviewed it on PC, and I used one of those HOTAS flight sticks, and it was all right. You know, I muddled through for the review. I could tell that it was fucking a good thing
good one of them.
that they'd created, but gameplay wise, just flying a fucking plane.
So are we deleting that or?
Yeah.
Yes,
It was one of those that I was like that. I think that's going quite early. So
Chris White, because you know,
I really enjoyed it on the Xbox, but yeah, it wasn't a surprise. I just liked it. Flying over ours, isn't it?
Do you want to? The most reductive box quote
Yeah.
ever. Flying over houses, isn't it,
it's
mate,
just
really?
jumping on Goombas and saving princesses, isn't it? You know what I mean?
That's more exciting than flying over my fucking house in a game. I can't even dive bomb my neighbour's house. I can't shoot anybody.
Well, no, you can't because if you try and crash into somewhere, it just fades
Bounces.
to black.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Chris, what do you want to cut? Chris White, what do you want to cut from this?
What do I want to cut? Oh,
Yeah,
thanks.
you know.
Thanks
why
for
not?
asking.
Yeah,
I am. Oh God.
it's a big old
Well, there's
list, mate.
about 5 games on this list that I haven't played, so I cut them all.
Go on then. What are they?
Well, I don't want to be harsh in case.
No, mate. Listen, we've got to get through them, so you may as well.
Okay, then. The bottom two, are they going to be in the top 5? Are they any good? Are they a surprise? Discuss.
That's just 2. You said 5.
All right.
Come on, let's just get this, all 5.
No, because don't make me.
Come on, just give us all 5. They might get called out.
Well, what's Grime? Is that a surprise?
Nope.
Grime was brilliant, and I didn't expect it to be, so I was surprised by Grime.
Well, that sounds like it should be not cut
Sounds
yet,
like-
because
it
it
does
does sound like a nice
Surprise
surprise.
for Mick.
What are the other 2? Come on.
The other 2 are Axiom Verge 2
Okay.
and Fist.
Oh, no, Fist. Oh, leave Fist for now.
Do you know what? I'm just going to say I'll go with all 5 of them. He's just said I'd cut the fucking all 5 of them.
Yeah.
By the balls, quite frankly.
Fist should be cut because of its name.
I feel like
It's a silly name.
we should probably at least talk about some of them. But
Of course.
Right.
Let's go back to the first of his vicious ball cuts. Ruined King, a League of Legends story. I don't know what that is.
What is it?
It's a turn-based RPG set in the League of Legends universe. It's made by Airship Syndicate, who did Battle Chasers Night War.
Okay.
It's fucking great.
Okay.
It's really, really good. It's like Battle Chasers Night War, but well, kind of, because it's League of Legends name. So it's sort of when it came out, the Ruined King. There's another one, Hex Tech something or other, which isn't that good. That's like a rhythm game. I assumed that's going to be shit, just because it was like using the League of Legends name to sell it. So I thought it's going to be something half-baked, half-assed. It's going to be something that they've cobbled together and put League of Legends on it. It's really not. Airship Syndicate are fantastic devs, and it's really fully fleshed out. It's really deep. It's really well made.
Okay. So
you guys haven't played it, so I can understand why you cut it.
That doesn't mean it's a cut. If you think it is one of the 5 biggest nicest surprises of this whole year out of 23 games.
Of the games on that list, it's one of the big surprises for me to say, yeah, because I didn't expect it to be what it was.
All right.
I thought it was going to be...
Which of the other 4 Chris did mention would you say, okay, let's cut it?
What were the other ones? So
Grime,
Ruined City, Forgotten City.
Right, I haven't played Forgotten City, but I know a lot of people like it, so I don't.
Okay.
I've no
Fist. You asked us to park.
Opinion.
So it's
Fist.
Grime
I would
and...
park for now, but then Grime and Fist, I would argue probably.
Hang on. I think I can cut one really easily here. Has anyone here played Axiom Verge 2?
I haven't.
No.
What
Chris,
is it on
Adam?
it?
I've played
I
it.
didn't play it.
Oh, you played it.
Yeah, but like half an hour. It seems a very good game. The surprise part, I think, comes from the fact that nobody knew when it was coming, and then it's like it's out today. But if nobody's played it,
And there you go.
bye. Okay, that's easy. That's gone. Grime. Now I know Chris Hyde has played this. I know Mick played this. I've played some of it. I can't get behind it being one of the 5 best, nicest surprises of the year by a million years. It's a good game.
Yeah, it's a good game. Yeah.
No. Yeah.
And I say that
think...
just spotting for the first time that you do have a saw above your head, over your shoulder, and I feel threatened all of a sudden.
Don't ask me what I do with it.
I won't.
I would say of the 3 Metroidvanias that I think are in this list, unless there are any more, Grime's probably the worst, and so therefore.
Yeah.
Well, you say worst. It's the least really good.
It's more of a Souls. It's more of a Souls than a Metroidvania.
Yeah, Grime is more of a Souls.
I think it's more of a Souls than a Metroidvania.
Maybe.
But yeah, I would let you cut. I wouldn't argue.
I think I was going to cut Grime.
Grime's gone.
If I had to argue either Grime or Fist got to stay, maybe Fist won't anyway, but I'd argue Fist first.
We've kicked Mick in the knackers enough over his games just for now. Let's carry on along the bottom rung as people are the bottom line of this video. As you can see, Chris has had a shout, Mick's had a shout. It was a slip, wasn't it? Lyle, what are you cutting?
Ooh, okay.
You can, if you've got 3, go for it, or just 1. Easy, whatever you want to do.
I'm not sure I'd keep Knockout City.
He's gone there.
And I asked the question again, who invited him on this podcast? He's hurting me.
Academia argument, aren't we?
Oh, we can't cut Knockout City yet, surely.
The issue is that there's a better dodgeball game on there, though, isn't there?
It's not a dodgeball game. It's a third-person shooter. It's the most unique individual third-person shooter in a decade. Since Titanfall 2, let's say. Let's be a bit more... there must be something else.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
I mean,
Okay.
unless Chris, because both you two are the
I
ones.
don't want to knock out
Okay,
City
okay,
yet.
right, fine.
I don't know if
Okay.
it will quite make it because there's a lot to get. We'll see, but I don't.
I have a
yeah,
cut.
nowhere near. It's not.
Hang on,
21st.
Lyle, if you've got another cut, go for it. But otherwise,
Okay. I was gonna say, was Death's Door a nice surprise, or did everyone think it'd be good and it was good?
So I will say I was quite surprised by it because I reviewed that developer's first game, Titan Souls, and it was similar, top-down isometric-y style.
Yeah.
But it was a boss rush. That was all it was. So it was this glorious world, and you're like, this is really interesting, and it's just like a certain amount of bosses. There's no enemies other than those bosses. So I guess I'm actually saying, and also it's not that surprising because you kind of can see they had it in them, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Um,
It's just that it's obviously I know a lot of people love that game.
it's a really good game, yeah.
And if it was a best game list, then it would probably be staying on a lot longer. But I think for nicest surprise, I'm not sure that it's quite of the category.
I think we need to hear someone either say they agree with you or they don't, because I'm really torn on this one.
Yeah, I'm really torn. That's why I'm not saying anything.
Why don't you just park it for now? I don't.
Okay,
I don't.
I'll
think-
italicize that one then.
Can
a
I offer up one?
Yeah.
Is WarioWare Get It Together the top 5 nicest surprises? Thank you.
That was my next one. If
I would only argue that it's a surprise they bother with it because they kind of don't. And it was nice to see they tried something a bit different rather than just going, it's another mini game collection. It was nice that they did the kind of multiplayer element. No, it's not. It's a good game though. Play it.
Have a question.
Okay.
I imagine that at some point over the next few days of deliberations, we're going to discuss this anyway. But what was the big surprise about Monster Hunter Stories 2?
Yeah.
Why was it a nice surprise?
The thing is, I didn't play the original
game. No, neither did I.
Oh, okay. Because I was going to say, if you played the original, I don't think there'd be an awful lot surprising. It's just better than that. But I think it surprised me they made a better Pokemon game than the Pokemon Company and Game Freak can make.
I will admit,
it is a Pokemon game. It is a Pokemon game.
Yeah, I did not expect to enjoy it as much as and I fucking loved it.
Same.
So
isn't that literally what we're talking about here?
Well, maybe it is. That's why I'm asking. I'm on a list of games where we've got to pick the nicest surprise.
I literally started playing that pre-release with you guys, thinking, it's a fucking Monster Hunter game, so I suppose I should play it because everyone's always talking about these. And then I was like, I love this. I love this game. This is what I want Monster Hunters to be. I love this game. So
I thought it was fantastic.
I think, and I know Chris Hyde won't agree with me, I think it's a better Monster Hunter game than Monster Hunter Rise. And, well, it's a better game overall, I should say, sorry. It's a better game than Monster Hunter Rise. That, to me, is surprising.
Yeah,
like the fact it's a game that made me take my Switch with me to... I dropped my wife off at a training thing and I was sat in the car park playing it. Like that to me is a surprise. I
was
don't do that.
taking it to work and playing it at lunch and everything. I was really into it.
I would be uncomfortable.
You know, I disagree on the
Monster
Hunter conversation, but there are easier cuts on this list, surely.
Okay, what we got?
Fair enough.
All right, New World.
Pokemon Unite.
Oh, Pokemon Unite's got to go. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Because it's
Pokemon getting a bashing.
I think Pokemon Unite is a good game, but it is just League of Legends. It's just Dota with Pokemon. And they are doing exactly what I said they'd do in like a Pokemon every few weeks. It's just an absolute cash cow for them.
Yeah.
And I've seen a lot, I haven't got there, but I've seen a lot of reports that people say once you get to kind of the top tier, you're kind of done. There's nothing to do. I think it's a good game. It's actually, if you've always been intrigued by MOBAs, if you've always thought, oh, God, Dota it scares the shit out of me, I'm not trying that League of Legends. Oh, God, no, I've heard all about their community. Pokemon Unite is free on your Switch, and it's actually a really good place to start and try out if you like that thing or not. And I realised I actually quite like that game and quite like that style, but I would still never go near those other ones because you dedicate your gaming time to those. Is it a nicer surprise? Nah.
No.
Okay. Who's not cut one yet? Adam, you haven't cut one, have you?
I haven't got one.
Very quiet.
Have we been surprised by Metroid Dread?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Well, right. No, not for me.
Because I'm just going to say that I sure as shit wasn't when we saw the footage that we saw. I was like, this
but
is
Mercury
probably going to be
Steam,
a very solid Metroid
everyone
game.
bashes their last Metroid game, which was Mick, you'll know the name of this one. It was the Castlevania DS game that they did a HD version of.
Samus Returns.
No. Oh, they did that as well. Sorry, Samus Returns. Yeah, sorry. No, the
That's
one
what I was thinking.
The Castlevania
Mirror
one.
of Fate.
Lords of
The
Shadow. Mirror of
Castlevania
Fate.
one.
Mirror of Fate.
Yeah.
Yes, Mirror of Fate.
Yeah.
And I liked that. I remember previewing that. It was one of those weird memories I've always got because it was back then with DS games to preview it. You had to be sent a special DS, and it was like it weighed a ton. It had like this debug stuff attached to it, and it was like a brick. And I always remember thinking, I really like this. And then I didn't review it. I just previewed it. And then the reviews came out and it was trashed. And I was like, oh, weird. So from that, I feel people have always said that they aren't a very good dev. And I was like, oh, okay. But
I'm just gonna say, just personally, I wasn't surprised. I played it going, yeah, this was exactly what I thought it was going to be, banging.
I think for me, there's a couple of points here. So for me, this year, 35th year of Metroid, 35th year of Zelda. If I'm honest, we thought we were getting some info, maybe release dates, but probably more likely info on Breath of the Wild 2 and Metroid Prime 4. No one until May this year knew this game even existed.
Yeah,
they did the
that's
whole
true.
Origami King thing and went, here's a brand new game you didn't even know was a thing. It's coming out in a couple of months, right? So that in itself was a nice surprise.
That's true.
I think a very strong point. I totally agree with that.
Yeah,
and I think
they've got really good at that. Nintendo of all companies.
Yeah, they have actually. And also, yes, the 2D Metroid games have never been terrible. They've never been anything less than very good. But this is. We'll be talking about this game in other categories.
Is it top 5 at this point? I'm not sure. But I think it's not a cut. Not yet.
It's not 19th on this
list. Well, I have to say,
No.
Chris, you say I completely did forget about that game.
Yeah.
Just not existing till it's
No one even knew.
I just think we get so saturated by video games that you forget those parts.
Do you remember how they announced it? Didn't they actually say Metroid Prime 5 and then delete it, and then it was like Metroid Dread? Didn't they troll people with the reveal?
I can't remember, but
did
they do
something
normally
weird.
troll people with stuff like that, don't they?
Yeah. Okay.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, that was going to be one of my next ones.
So I have a question because I've not got around to playing this yet. So the only thing I thought people would argue about it is people, because of what had gone before with Avengers, actually people being all over the characters and the story for this one, and that being a nice surprise.
What surprised me about that was how well they put it together. I know it had bugs and glitches. I'm not talking about that. I mean,
did it just?
But I mean, the story, it could have been so easily.
But we have a category for best story.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I'm not.
Maybe.
I don't mean to. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off straight away. I'm just conscious of 19 games, and I will actually be with you there. I'll show my hand now and say that in terms of, I think it's been a fairly weak year for story, but we'll get there when we get there. But Guardians of the Galaxy was a really good story. But I find it really hard. I don't know, Chris White. I need you to chime in there. I find it quite hard to vote for this as a best surprise or nicest surprise, given how fucking buggy it was when we played it. Because that was anything but a nice surprise. It's not a game that goes on biggest disappointment, but it was disappointing to have to. Why can't I progress? Oh, I just need to restart the chapter because it's bugged again.
Bugs, yeah.
And that's very much a proclivity of playing a game before release sometimes. But there were way more bugs than they even suggested. This has been the buggiest game I've played.
Even after the patch, there were bugs.
Yeah.
In terms of again, not knowing it was coming, and then at E3 they were like, "Oh yeah, we're making Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy." And yes, I'd loved it, but yeah, it was buggy a lot, and even as I say, even after the patch. So I think we need to start being a bit more ruthless with some of the other titles, though, because we can't just cut this and not other games that.
What about
Hot Wheels Unleashed? Why? Is anyone going to fight for that?
I will happily cut it. What I will say is it's a surprise to me because it's really good, and it's Hot Wheels. You'd kind of assume it would be a cash grab and just a quick throw it out the door. Even with the developer pedigree, they're not always on a fire. The developer. It just surprised me that it was really good, but it can go definitely. I'm happy to delete that unless anyone else wants Hot Wheels on here. Okay, no. Hot Wheels is gone. Are we deleting Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy?
Yes,
I think so.
For me, yeah.
Well, what Chris said, Fist. I'm just gonna before we.
Okay.
I played Fist. I wasn't surprised. I was just cool. I was
right.
It looks.
Yeah,
it looks
fair enough.
It looks pretty nice, and it's a bit of a vibe going on. But Jesus, I'm not gonna think about that game again.
Yeah,
sorry,
yeah.
But
Yeah.
Do you know?
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
Anyone else before I delete it?
Outriders.
Funny one
How
that because
surprised
it came out
was
so long ago that it's like I actually have trouble. That's
I
probably
thought
one
it
of
was
the
last
oldest
year.
games.
I said to
No,
you,
it was
like,
this year.
Yeah, April. I thought it was like fucking yeah. I thought it was October last year. I had it in my head that it was. It was.
I don't think it's a particularly surprising game. Full stop. I think what it does
No.
really well. But
Yeah.
It feels weird in this list, but it's not a bad game.
No.
But you'd be hard to go, well, which bits are surprising? Oh, I don't know.
like the really bad acting in it. Is that
Yeah, that fucking camera. Yeah, no. Yeah, Outriders, I think, can go. For me, that's a go.
Okay. Well, we are getting there, but we are getting there very, very slowly.
Tales of Arise.
No
who
way.
was
Adam Cook,
surprised?
you're going to stand up for
I
that,
was
I'd say.
enormously surprised. I've not liked a single
Okay.
Tales of Arise game. Yeah, but it's not my list. It's not my
No,
list.
but there's no way I'm cutting that. If we have to fight for it, I'll...
Why though?
No, but
Why
what
was it a nice
surprise?
surprise?
Explain the
This is nice,
surprise
yeah.
element.
Yeah, he's
for
right.
me.
This is a nice surprise for me because
I'm
I
not
don't
saying
like
it's on.
this series.
It's on my list overall. I think, but
No, but for nicest surprise, it's on my list because it was a surprise. I liked it, but this is not my list. So if this isn't a surprise for all of you, it's no business on this list.
It was a surprise for me. We haven't had a Tales game like that this is this good for me since Symphonia on the GameCube. So I've played a fair few Tales games between then and now, and they've been nowhere near. Not for a lot of reasons: character, story, combat. We'll talk about a lot of those later on. I don't want to show my hand later on, but if I'm honest, when
I think the combat's surprising.
when I first saw this game announced, you always hope. Tales is one of those series that you're like, I'm a fan of it, and I always want it to be awesome, but it hasn't quite hit that in recent years. So when you see games announced, you go, I hope it's going to be good. But if I'm honest, did I think this was going to be, a contender in future
without showing
conversations?
Your hand,
No, I think this is going to be like a
it'll
good
get a
game,
mention.
but
It'll get a mention, and we'll never
but then
talk
it'll get
about
cut.
it again.
So for me, that's an incredibly nice surprise. 'Cause I'm a fan of the series, and all of a sudden, I'm waxing lyrical about a Tales game, and you've got people like Adam who
I've never liked a Tales
I've never
game.
got into them, and are suddenly thinking, not only do I really like this game, but I've probably got my eye on the next one that comes in the series.
Oh
now
yeah,
as well.
like if this is the road they're going down, then absolutely, I'm in now. I'm not going to go back and play the old ones because I played them and didn't like them.
That's a game changer for the series for me. So absolutely, that's a nice surprise because that's not happened in the Tales series for a long, long time. So,
right, I'm going to throw two out here, and they're brutal, and they're going to be surprised by both of them. I propose that we cut from Nicest Surprised both New World and Halo Infinite.
Just about to fight for New World. I was literally.
I was going to argue about Halo Infinite in a minute.
New World had that many beta tests and delays, and the thing is, every bit about it that's a nice surprise, they are. And I will have. This is perhaps a conversation for later a bit, but they are actively making the game worse. The community are falling away from it. People are not liking what they're doing with the changes.
I did read about the player base actually.
I can't call this a nice. It's a nice surprise that I found an MMO I liked. It's a nice surprise that they don't charge you monthly for it. But also they tested it enough that people can't be shocked by this game being good. People were talking about this game being good when they were doing like the alpha tests. And they're not.
Yeah, I guess it comes back to, doesn't it? Like I didn't do any of that testing, right? And this year, me and us as a group, and what do we think is a nice surprise for games that we've played? And like you, I've never really got into that genre, and I think everyone knows I've probably got into it far too much for my own good, and I can't. It's difficult for me to argue against the amount of hours I've put into that game versus some other games on this list and other lists. And I was surprised. I'm surprised, as much surprised by anybody. Like, you can argue whether it's nice when I need to get out of the house more, but like for me, that it's nice when a game grabs you, and we can talk. Yes, they might be making decisions we don't agree with, but I can hand on heart say every hour I spend in that world, I'm enjoying it. It's nice.
What about the night we tried to transfer servers and we couldn't, and it crashed? And then I got to transfer and you couldn't, and we could no longer play together because it was bugged.
Okay, but that's fixed now, and now we can.
It's fixed now, but that's not a nice surprise or a good memory of it. It's a ruined evening.
This isn't like, that's not the whole game. That one day when they transferred servers. Look, I'm not gonna if 3 people haven't played it, so don't care, and the other 3, and I'm arguing against the other 2 that have and they don't care, then it's 1 versus 5, right? But I think it deserves a mention.
It definitely deserves a mention, but my argument is I love that game despite everything, and there are 16 games on a list that needs to be 5. That's
I mean, look, if I look at this, if I'm being brutal, it's probably
you have to
not
cut
making
11
5.
games.
Yeah, and that, if I'm looking at it through that lens, then it's got to go. I guess I'm a bit gutted it's going at 16 rather than
I'm fine deleting it later, but cut something else. I mean, Halo Infinite I think has to go.
Halo Infinite,
because
I was gonna
don't
call that
think
anyway.
it's a surprise that after Halo 5 they got the gameplay right.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's a surprise.
I think it's a huge surprise, but I've been vocal about it to you in messages and I think like Infinite's multiplayer is something that has to obviously fix itself in its rewards and leveling up and all that kind of stuff. It has to it just needs, but as it stands, I've seen a lot of people like me in the same boat who are going, holy shit, I've never paid attention to Halo ever.
It's great fun.
Oh man, it's fucking brilliant. It's so much fun and it's crazy addictive. And that's for me, for a multiplayer game to be playing this game and not be bothered by these. I'm not bothered by it yet. I just go into a match.
But there's 2 thoughts there though. Some people are bothered by it because we've become accustomed to a certain thing in games now where you are rewarded as you play. Other people I consider myself one of these. I'm old enough that you didn't get any reward other than the game. The fun was playing the game, and that's what this has done. And it's kind of brave. It's a bold move for them to go. All those other games are doing this. We're not. We just want you to know that the game's fun. It will backfire on them because we don't live in that world anymore.
That way. It definitely won't stay that way. But
no, it won't.
Is it not just kind of like?
It's not an overnight fix. What people are asking for. That's a whole lot of changes people want. Not an overnight fix.
I think the maps are brilliant. The weapons are great. They've added in that new mode just out of nowhere there for just trying out all the new weapons randomly. It's a shit ton of fun, and I
don't debate that. I don't debate that. But is it a nice surprise?
It's a surprise for me. It just is. It's huge.
As someone who did play Halo forever, every iteration of Halo and all that, it's got some good stuff in it. I mean, I know they fucked up the battle pass a bit and they're trying to fix it.
No, but the gameplay is a huge compliment to say to them, you nailed it. That's how I remember it. That's a huge compliment. But I just don't think that's a shock given how everyone was so negative on 5. They have to kind of do this.
See, for me, the Halo multiplayer was best in Reach, the Reach days. I loved Reach's multiplayer.
Look, I'm not hearing that we're cutting or not, so we need to move to something that we're cutting.
I would like to not cut games.
That's fine. But we need to cut 11 games
unpacking?
still.
I know what unpacking is, but people seem to have gotten really into this game, and it seems really sweet and really nice. I haven't gone near it. I kind of feel like I know what it is before I've even played it, which doesn't seem fair. But who's backing this game here?
Okay,
in this group.
I think I'm the person who would be backing it. I'm basically going to give it a eulogy now because I don't think it's making it further than now. But I think the surprise with that game is, so it was this really this adorable pixel art game where you unpack boxes and put items in a room and stuff. But the surprise for me was that game has a story. There's a story in that game that's told through items that you find, you'll be bringing, there's a childhood teddy that you unpack in your first room and then it comes with you and you see it get torn a little bit. There is stories in which houses you're moving to, you're seeing someone's whole life play out through the house moves they make, which are big sort of events in anyone's life. It's a really great game and I like it a lot, and it really surprised me in that regard. But I think I'll be the only one who fights for it, and there's a lot of great games on there, and there might even be other games I'd fight for, just me, that I'd maybe fight for a little bit harder. So, but I want to say,
I do think, Lyle, that a game like Unpacking, the premise sounds very unique, but also really? But you're kind of is that all there is? But I know if I do play, I wish I kind of did. It's just trying to get all these games done in time for this. It's insane.
They're the casualties of the season, aren't they? Let's face it.
Yeah, I will probably play this kind of game and be this is really nice. This is really cool. And I think these are the kind of games that are very important. Is these kind of original ideas, no matter what way you look at it. if you truly do think it's something that you want to keep on,
so I've played it,
Same,
and
I've
I would
played
say
it.
I would say that it's an original idea, and it's a nice idea.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's a nicest surprise.
No.
That's what where I'd pitch it. I'm reminded of games like Florence when I think about unpacking in the kind of way it uses a game to tell like a more emotional story. Now, the way Unpacking does it is literally the same every time with boxes and putting stuff in rooms, whereas Florence mixes stuff up. And in that sense, I think Florence does a better job of it. But it is quite clever the way just unpacking boxes. To your point, Lyle, you manage to tell stories through what's already in the rooms, what you're putting in the rooms, where you've got to put them, where you've got to choose to put things, move other people's stuff. All that's really clever because it's like you can relate and you can build your own sort of narrative with it. But I don't think, for me, that wasn't the nicest surprise of the year. It wasn't a surprise for me. It was a nice experience, and it's a little bit different, and it should be getting the sort of bubble of support and praise that it's getting because it is good. But I don't think it's the top 5 nicest.
I actually
surprise.
think what you both described is where it fell down for me. I thought when I started it, it's a nice kind of Zen game about unpacking boxes. It's called Unpacking. I'm unpacking boxes, and you can put stuff where you want, and it's kind of like that, just kind of like almost like a clicker. You know how you just relaxing, and it's just Zen, sort of Zen garden. And it's actually when you realise, for me, that there is a story, which is a very nice story, and it's emotionally resonant. But I actually think that's where the game part starts to almost disassociate from the story, because for me, it's when the game starts saying, no, that doesn't go there. I'm like,
there was one point it took me ages to find out where I had to put this picture.
Yeah,
I was getting angry. I was like, this should be calming me down, and I'm getting annoyed because I keep putting this picture and it keeps flashing red at me going.
Like you've seen I failed this now 15 times. Just tell me which room it's in. And it was there that the kind of you end up with like this. There's a narrative which seems interesting, and a game, and they're pulling away from one another rather than unifying in their own, because for the story to work, for example, you have to put a certain thing away in a cupboard, shall we say, without spoiling anything. And if you don't have that moment where, no, that doesn't go there, it goes there, then the narrative doesn't work, and it is just a game about putting stuff away.
Yeah, and I know the exact moment you're talking about, and it didn't stumble me in the same way, so I guess...
No, and I appreciate that I overanalyze stuff like that sometimes. I've done it in the past, and I'll do it in the future. But that, for me, was really where the seams started. They were pulling a bit, and then it was like, well, I'd like to read what this story is, although I think it becomes fairly clear. But the gameplay then didn't... I think it was my fault. I wanted this Zen game where I could just stick stuff away and almost redesign put my kitchen where I'd have my stuff in the kitchen. And I have to be honest, I don't know if I'm not worldly enough, but there were some items in some of them where I'm like, what is that?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, when it gets
I don't
bigger,
know what room you want me to put it in, because I don't know what that item is. Like, I think it's something that goes in the kitchen, but I'm like, there was one at the start. It kind of looked like an old-fashioned, you know, those really old toys where it's got a handle on it, and then there's a gap with the handle to go, and there's a box. I just didn't know what it was. And like, I mean, I didn't get far enough, but I'm guessing there's something about illustration or artistry, because those boxes of colours just kept coming up. Yeah. And I'm like, and I'm like, I don't want them. I'm shit at art. Fuck off. And it's like,
I put these in the bin.
I did try. But I was like, oh, this isn't my story, and that's fine, because they can't all be. And there's enough stories for me out there, and I'm fine with that too. But yeah, like you said,
I mean, it's not nicest surprise, really. I think it's going, but great game.
Well,
Ruined King is still on this list.
Yeah, you might as well cut that, because it's only me. Who gives a fuck?
And you didn't wax half as lyrical about it as Lyle did for Unpacking.
Yeah. No, I didn't. So. Yeah, I'd also get rid of New World after the discussion earlier. I know we had I'm not saying you just cut it, because I know Chris had an argument for it, but I think listening to the points you guys both made, I think as a surprise for the site, not for an individual, I don't think.
Someone tell me why Life is Strange is on this list of nicest surprise.
Jesus. it just for me it's a series of games that I've just not clicked to it. I think True Colors is an absolutely phenomenal game.
What's different about it? If that makes sense. I don't want to be reductive. We've still got 14 games. I'm
think its storytelling is just at its strongest. I think its storytelling is right. Its characters.
But
are
we have a category for that.
Then
I'm not being harsh on you. I'm just saying we have we will be here for 10 hours.
Because I thought like I'm not gonna like it. I'm just not going to get into this. Like I don't like that first game. I just don't. And this really
a lot.
Like, and I'm not saying if anyone likes the first game, that's grand. But I don't know if you like the first game and you don't like True Colors, then that's just mental. Like I think that's a mad thing.
I don't know if I even like the genre anymore. It got so saturated so quickly. Like it was the Telltale era, wasn't it? They saturated it themselves, and then God bless anyone else who tried to do that genre because it was like, well, I mean, The Wolf Among Us 2 is still coming, isn't it? I think that's still a thing, is it? I don't know.
True Colors handled a story that like I honestly didn't think I was going to give that much of a shit about. Like it just was a crazy surprise in how much I care about every single character. Like no joke, I did not think I thought I was going to play this game and be like this is all right. This is just all right. But I was so invested in the town. Like there's some really sad moments. I know that's what the game is designed to do, but some of the moments in this are very, very, very sad, and it's just handled in a more adult way. Like it is.
What you're saying to me, and apologies, I don't mean to be reductive. All I'm hearing is as if you're arguing for it to be in best story, and I'm not being harsh.
No,
we've got to get rid of 9 games.
But its gameplay stuff to me was even fun. Like it was enjoyable to just walk around and go like it's way more polished than I ever imagined. It was a big surprise. That's what it was.
So the phrase I ask more than any phrase I've ever asked in my life, I'm going to ask again. What are we cutting?
Can I make a suggestion of how we go about this? Can we all suggest a game we should lock, and then maybe
be left with 6 locks for the top 5?
Six.
Well, no, not just that, but then maybe debate them because. We're not getting anywhere.
But I think we have to knock some of these off.
I could tell you now 10 games we could cut.
I think you could
cut Scarlet.
Don't cut that many, Chris.
Yeah, could you not cut Scarlet Nexus from Nicest Surprise? I mean, it kind of is what it is. It's good.
No, I think that's unfair.
Really?
Bandai Namco release so many games like this, and none of them are like this. None of them are like this.
I'm just trying to cut
They have so many. Like, what was that vampire game that you reviewed? Was it you, Chris or Mick? One of you reviewed that vampire game.
That was Mick, I think.
Code Vein.
Bandai Namco release so many of these, and I'm going to be as generic, and this is awful, and I don't think this, but this makes the most sense to say it. So many of these anime games, they do. That's what they are. Literally one of the few publishers who have access to, like via Dimps and via CyberConnect 2. They have all these developers who make all these like Naruto games and that. Scarlet Nexus is a shit title for a video game, and yet it's one of the most unique, interesting titles ages.
So can I make a point? There are a few games on this list. Yeah, there are a few games on this list that we've kind of and and parked, and I don't think we can afford to do that.
So
anymore.
Death's Door was one. Halo Infinite was one.
Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, and New World.
I actually thought I deleted Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy.
I think they all need to go, and we're still left with 10.
I'll tell you what if you're going to delete those,
and then we
tell me what Forgotten
Cities. We need to have a dodgeball conversation at some point as well. We need to have a dodgeball conversation.
I don't know what Forgotten City is. Right. I've heard about it.
Hang on. Slow down a second. Am I deleting or cutting Guardians of the Galaxy?
Yes.
Right. Am I cutting Death's Door?
Yes.
Yes, I think you are, given this list.
Yes. Halo Infinite?
Yes.
I think so, yes. But
I wasn't surprised by how good it was.
Fair enough. This is the overall.
That's not saying it's not great. That's
it's fucking incredible.
Yeah. Oh, I totally know I totally understand what you're saying. I just did not think I would give this much of a shit.
No, I get that, and I guess there is an element of it where I am surprised it's this good, but I also feel like it had to be. I'm pretty sure we said last year they've delayed it because it won big. It was like third biggest disappointment for us last year.
Yeah.
It had to be good. This is Halo. You don't get to have 2 bad Halos. I mean, I don't think 5 was bad, but it doesn't matter what I think.
Okay.
Right, New World was the other one. New World was the other one we had parked a bit.
I think, look, I'm just going to say the same thing. So if it's still 5 versus 1, it needs to cut, because then there would still be left with 10.
Okay, we are down to 10 then.
So
what's Psychonauts 2? What was the surprise? And this is someone who I haven't got around to it yet, and I know it's beloved, so I'm not suggesting it's a cut. I just want to know.
I've been struggling
as
with
an
this thought
outsider
because Psychonauts 2 is one of my favourite games of this year. I'm trying to think why it's a surprise that's the case, because it's kind of like it's exactly the kind of game
didn't
I
everyone
like.
expect it to be?
No, everyone expected it to be average. I think was probably part of it.
So?
I
thought everyone thought it was going to be brilliant, and then it was. I didn't see any controversy. People going, "Oh, it's good." I just saw people
crowdfunded like on Kickstarter, on Fig, on the amount of people who got their. I'm saying I don't.
I think I agree with Chris in saying that, like, I do think people thought it might be a bit average because of the length of time it took to come out.
But I don't think
But
anyone
is that
thought it would
enough
be
of a
bad.
surprise to stay in a top 5 of, like, if they went, I thought it was going to be all right, but it turned out to be a lot better than all right.
Hang on. I've remembered why I put it on the list. Sorry, I've just remembered. It's a surprise to me because of how well they deal with mental health. It's a very silly game. Fundamentally, in terms of art style, in terms of audio design, it's a very silly game. How everyone looks funny, and yet it touches on mental health in a way. I have to kind of divorce myself from this because I've had a rough year, and there was elements of this that touched on things like anxiety in a way that I have never seen any medium do, ever. Like they create. There's an enemy in the game that is literally anxiety. And until you learn in the game to be able to kind of take a breath, relax, pause a bit, you can't even hurt it. You can't beat anxiety that way because it's too manic, it's bad, it's crazy all over you. Until you learn a power that lets you just go, then you can defeat anxiety. And that, to me, is an incredible thing to put in a game.
But not to shit on what you just said there, but
Please
that's
do.
Similar.
Lighten the
that's
mood.
similar to what you said to me when I was explaining Life is Strange. You're like, that's best story though, is it not? Like you did. I'm throwing out those elements that Life is Strange has, and that's why I care for it.
I
and you
think
just did
it's
the same thing
quite
for Psychonauts.
surprising. Yeah, but that's one element of it. That's just one thing.
Yeah, but it's that. But that's just one thing.
But everyone else is saying they're also surprised it's as good as it is. So.
You know what I'm not seeing on this list? Any unanimous locks, which is weird. We're having very few with no synergy.
There's one unanimous lock on this list that I think wins. Yes.
But see, you say that. I haven't played it. I'm not going to argue against it. I haven't got around to it yet. But that's fair to say it's a lock. But we haven't discussed it. I haven't.
It's going to come up in almost every other category.
Well, I know that, which is the same as a couple of games
every
last
year.
year.
We can't talk about every game in detail when it's going to keep coming up. Otherwise, we will be doing 6 hours a day.
But what I'm saying is, we're batting games back and forth rather than it. No one's really got any. I don't feel like anyone's got really strong arguments together to keep anything on.
Well, the only other person who is going to truly fight for Psychonauts 2 is Lyle. I take your point. I get why people want it cut, but it's not my list. Lyle, you loved it. I forget what you give it, 9.5?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, it was a high score.
Yeah. This is a tough one for me because I feel like I was surprised it was as good as it was. But at the end of last year, I just, on Twitter, I think it was, I did a list of, my most anticipated games, and Psychonauts 2 was number 1. So I don't know if it really could be that much of a surprise. Do you know what I mean?
I kind of always assumed after previews hit as well, it helped me, but I kind of always assumed the platforming would be modernised, and it was. And it's a cut, isn't it?
There are easier cuts, I think, on this list.
But we keep saying that, and we're not. Give me an easier cut.
I am proposing Psychonauts as a cut.
Team cut, Dodgeball Academia.
I mean, that's harsh on Lyle because he's the only one who's played it.
Well, no, but if it is I know it.
No,
is.
you're right. No, I'm not disagreeing.
I know it's top 10 at the moment.
No, I'm not disagreeing.
I didn't expect it to get this far. I was getting ready to give it its sort of unpacking eulogy again. I love that game, but yeah,
it's one I've been meant to play all year long.
Yeah, but no, I think that makes sense.
So I know, and I'm not being bullish, but I'm just, I've played Forgotten City,
Okay.
and
I did a good
my
viewers
view of
for
it,
last night too.
I felt like Psychonauts 2 was a nicer surprise than the Forgotten City. So I think the Forgotten City is, Forgotten City. For those guys who don't know, it's like a narrative time loop kind of sleuthing type game. You go around this town, talking to various residents, trying to solve. I won't go into detail of the story because it'll ruin it, but try and solve these issues by talking to people, finding items, finding out stuff. And there's a time loop element as well where you can reset and go back to the beginning and stuff if you mess up. And sometimes you might need to do that to learn stuff to then use it in a second way through. So, and it's good. The story is interesting. The characters are well voice acted and the writing's good. But I wasn't like I don't feel like it's like this is the nicest surprise of the year. Whereas like I was not expecting to enjoy Psychonauts 2 as much as I did. I was not expecting that standard of platforming, of humor, and it looks nice as well. I wasn't expecting it. Okay. I can't pretend to be in the same place as Adam in terms of like the mental health reflection, but I do think that's done very sensitively. So that I'm starting to kind of compare ones against each other now. I'd cut Forgotten City ahead of Psychonauts 2, but I know I'm then going to let Lyle come in and speak because I know he likes both those games as well.
I mean, basically, I put Unpacking Dodgeball Academia and the Forgotten City on here, and I kind of hoped that someone might help out at some point, and it hasn't happened. And I do think that because of that, pretty much all three of those, I mean, two already have gone, and I do think the third's probably going to go as well, and that's fine. I basically just wanted to bring them up. Like,
we don't know what Adam says about it because he says he played some of it last night.
Yeah, I think it's really good. It's a
strong list. This is a strong list.
It's a good game. It's a really good game.
I think there's some great dialogue in it and great character stories and stuff going on. That is really what that game is. Mm-hmm. Its strength is. Mm-hmm. If it didn't have that, then you'd be playing a very, very boring game. Yeah. But it is.
Was it a surprise? Because I think if the argument is I thought it would be shit and then it wasn't, I mean that.
Yeah.
But that's not the only criteria for something to be a nice surprise.
No, but that's what we've discussed on nearly every game. Nearly everyone's come up with.
Adam talked about the story of Life is Strange, and I mentioned about the dealing of the mental health aspect of Psychonauts 2.
I mean, from what I've heard of what you guys have said now about Psychonauts 2, I kind of don't think that should go anywhere. I think it should at least stay on the list. It sounds like...
Well, hang on. We are starting to go all over the place. Is the Forgotten City on this list or not?
Well, I've never played
it. It doesn't sound like
it's not going to be. It's not going to be in top 5. It's not going to be in top 5.
We need to cut 3 more games.
There's Monster Hunter Stories 2.
Yeah, Monster Hunter Stories 2 got a bit of a doing, and it's still on here, isn't it?
I'm sorry, but just off the course.
Adam Carroll.
Is it going?
Yeah,
I'd say yes, because it's going to come up another time.
Yes, it's gone.
And I'm just going to jump in another one here, right? I played this. It's a shit ton of fun. Knockout City. It's really, really good. Its controls are super simple. It's a lot of fun. It's not top 5.
I kind of think it is.
I kind of think
there we
it
go.
is. Because if I think about, like, you don't... I'm about to like cane my own argument by saying you don't get many of these games very often when we literally had 2 dodgeball games in the list.
They're neither of them are dodgeball games.
No, and it's I guess it's what you classify as a dodgeball game, but like it is something new and different, right?
And that does not happen as much.
Therefore, it is surprising. Like that is, and is it fun? Is it engaging? Is it well designed? Yes. So therefore, it's nice.
Came out and it was free. Then it entered Game Pass at some point.
Yeah, it was in November. It was. Yeah,
they've supported it. They've added maps and seasons. Like it got me playing a shooter essentially. And again, I'm going to make this point about It Takes Two at some point, so you're going to hear it twice. These kind of games don't get made these days. Not on the scale of this. If this is some indie team knocking it out and it's Steam only and it reaches a small audience who get the cult hit with it, fine. This was published by Electronic Arts. This doesn't happen. Huge publishers don't take these risks on these ideas like this. They go for the safe bet.
Is it staying?
I listen. It's a vote at the end of the day. There's 6 of us. I don't know how Knockout City is not on this list. If it's not, it's not. But I would.
The reason I'd keep it on the list is because it just kind of fucking came out of nowhere as well.
That's the other thing. People saw that trailer and said that looks shit. I didn't.
Yeah.
And I was about the only one I knew saw it and went, I have to keep an eye on that game. And then it came out, and I don't know if it was the art style that put people off. Maybe I've got bad taste in art. I don't know.
I didn't even have an opinion based on the trailer. I didn't have an opinion until you guys said try this.
I
did. And I thought, fucking hell, I've not played anything like this.
No.
Possibly ever, maybe.
It is a shooter, but it's a different kind of beast.
Is Life is Strange True Colors? I know, Adam Carroll, but I'm saying it as a group of 6 now, not because.
Can I just agree with Adam? I mean, obviously we're a group, so this isn't going to go on the list. I don't know. I don't think so. But for me, who loved the first one, really didn't like Before the Storm, and just thought they became this generic teen, just whether I was getting too old from it, I don't know, but I just didn't connect with the other 2 as well as I did with the first. And I know Tell Me Why wasn't a Life is Strange game, but they're all very similar in who's on screen and the age range and all that. Life is Strange True Colors, like the story is great and it's different. It surprised me in the same way the characters did. They're not just whiny teenagers. Like there's like family dynamics in there that not just between her and her brother, but between her brother and his like kind of son-in-law. There's so many like really powerful moments, more so than I've ever seen in a Life is Strange game. So for me, yes, it was a surprise because I went into reviewing it thinking I'd be a 7 for me. I'm not going to enjoy it, but I genuinely thought it's probably the best Life is Strange game.
I've done something there.
I was wondering what you were doing.
Is that the list? And it's not good for the listeners or viewers. With the ones that aren't bolded. Now, the reason I've not put Metroid Dread in there, so there is a counter argument no one's made about that game, and that is that Nintendo currently rarely put out a donkey. So although it was a nice surprise it was announced, I don't think there's an awful lot of surprise that it was very, very good. I think they, a bit like the Halo thing,
it's like Adam said, isn't it? You knew what it was going to be in a way.
You didn't know fully.
It was going to be good.
We have had other M. Let's not forget.
Yeah, no, but I feel like Nintendo were in the same position that 343 and Microsoft were in that it's like, this can't be crap. It can't be, because otherwise we've got this other game being developed, Metroid Prime 4. That's dead in the water if this is crap. This can't be crap. That's the only argument I can make to get us out of what is essentially 7 going into 5.
Like I said, the only thing for me is I haven't played Life is Strange, and I was really surprised by Scarlet Nexus. So that for me, that's the swap. But like, that's why I need Chris White to come in because he's played and things like that.
Hang on. So if we let's do this one at a time. Are we dropping Metroid Dread?
I would. I have no argument for Metroid Dread.
I think given the others on the list, it kind of probably has run its course. It will get talked about in later groups.
So that then says to me, okay, that we have a 6, we need 5, and it sounds like to me, Tales of Arise is going nowhere. It sounds like Knockout City is being fought to the death. I don't think you can discount Life is Strange the way Chris and Adam feel about that. It Takes Two, I think we knew from the beginning was a lock. It sounds to me like the decision is Psychonauts 2 or Scarlet Nexus in this top 5. Or if not, what is getting cut?
Just so everyone
I would just vote. I would just choose. Everybody just pick one
we
of the
can
two.
now do that. We've got 6 games. We can go round and we can choose. We can choose a cut.
Would you not just ask everyone which one game they cut?
No, because that's what I just said.
Oh, sorry. I thought that's what. Yeah. Okay.
Lyle, what game you cutting? Sorry to pick you first, mate.
I think I'm gonna say, after hearing what everyone said, I think I'd go for Scarlet Nexus.
Okay. Mick Fraser.
Same.
Okay. Chris White.
You fuckers, all of you.
I know,
Oh, no.
a bunch of bastards.
No,
I
that's
hate
not.
you.
It's not there's 6 of us. It's not over.
Not either. It's only 2 out of 4. 4 left.
Knockout City.
Wow. Okay. Adam Carroll.
Knockout City.
So I thought Chris Hyde.
This could get us nowhere if you vote for
Yeah, I know.
Life is Strange.
I mean, this is really difficult because I'm the host, so I kind of want to move it along
But
naturally.
you want to vote Life is Strange, don't you?
But I do want to vote for Life is. I want to vote for Life is Strange, but that gets us nowhere.
So, but that does mean that Psychonauts, Tales of Arise, and It Takes Two are locks, by virtue of
That's
Yeah,
it.
surely.
those
Surely
3
we've got
didn't
those
get
those 3 are
negative
locked,
votes.
which is
Right,
different to what we had a second ago.
More people wanted Knockout City in the list because there's valid reasons for that. Me and Adam both talked strongly about Life is Strange. Tales of Arise,
I think
banging,
you've got to
absolute classic.
bin Scarlet Nexus. I really
Yeah, you-
do.
I
Like
hate-
on
I
that
hate
list.
it.
In my opinion, that's behind It Takes Two for the biggest surprise because it fucking knocked my socks off and I was expecting to review it. When you went, do you want to preview this? I was like, yeah.
What is
all
it
right.
like? Yeah,
It's
that's
just
all
some
right.
generic JRPG action. And then I played it and I'm like, fuck me, this is amazing.
And
And
for
now, after finishing it, it's right at the top of the list for Game of the Year.
to back you as well, Chris, I have to say that like it was the one game that I was really kind of going, I gotta get through this. I gotta get through Scarlet Nexus for Game of the Year. Like if we're talking about like fun gameplay between Knockout City and Scarlet Nexus wins. The combat,
For me, they are
the
bang on
combat-
one. They are literally. If you put them on
I
either
know,
side of the
but
scale, they're not moving.
Just when you think you play something like Scarlet Nexus, Chris, you play Scarlet Nexus, you're going to go, this is going to be exactly what I think. And you've been through a lot of these, like, oh my God, it runs so well. It plays phenomenal. It's constantly giving all the time. It's just a fucking great game that I think a lot of people were just going to go, whatever. Exactly the same thing can be said. I know Life is Strange a lot, but it's the same thing. If Life is Strange wasn't called Life is Strange and it was like, say, Fulbright's new game, I think everyone would be like, oh, let's go to that. It's just one of those things. But like Scarlet Nexus is a fucking phenomenal video game.
But you see, I don't disagree with you. That's why I voted for Life is Strange. Because I don't hear, I just don't hear anything about Life is Strange that sounds surprising. If a game
have you played it?
No, I've downloaded it. I haven't got around to it yet. Again, it's one.
Then I just Adam Cook. Like if you're there talking about Psychonauts the way you mentioned it, I cannot take the comment.
But Psychonauts is also like a beloved franchise that people have been waiting for the sequel for over a decade.
I know, but like I'm just. Look,
there's so much around Psychonauts. Like it's taken a decade for them to get that game out the door, to convince them to make it. And like, what was the last time something that was that long in the making that was this good? You know, I always use the Chinese Democracy Guns N' Roses argument. And I'll never say that's a bad album. But if Psychonauts 2 was just pretty good, people would be like, well, you know, fair enough. But it's not.
I just don't think Knockout City is the one to be keeping here out of this list. It's just not. Like those other games are way fucking stronger. When was the last time you tuned into Knockout City?
When it came out on PS5, what was it, last week? A week before?
Like,
I love that game.
Is it one of those ones you're going to keep returning to?
Absolutely, yes. Absolutely. It is the most unique, and I'm going to call it a shooter. It's the most unique shooter I've played since Titanfall 2. And Titanfall 2 is ultimately Modern Warfare's... The evenings we played together, like, you know, Chris, people who are in our Discord, and we played that game together. That is, those are the things I don't get very much of these days. I don't, you know, I've changed jobs this year, but before that, I don't get to stay up late and play games with people and now have those. You know, last time I did it was Overwatch. Like Knockout City gave me that.
Scarlet Nexus few Ed as well, though. I remember when you were like playing that, you were kind of messaging me going, damn, the combat in this game is one of the best.
But I agree. Scarlet Nexus should be in the top 5. I agree.
But I don't think you expected that, surely. You did not expect to go into Scarlet Nexus with the.
But
with
what
the
you're
intention
asking
of going,
me to do
"Holy
personally
shit."
is to vote against 2 games I love, Knockout City and Scarlet, in favour of a game I haven't played, and I'll be honest with you, I wanted to play it because you spoke so strongly about it. But I haven't, because it's just like, I just can't. I need to be in the right place for that game, and I'm not there right now. Not to say I'll never be, but like it just looks like a Life is Strange game to me. And Life is Strange for me is one of those games where you might love the first one, hate the second one, love the third one, hate the fourth one. It's about whether the story catches you or not. Literally, that is what that game is. And if it does, excellent. And I'm really pleased that it's caught people. But if it doesn't, there's nothing there for you. And that's why I don't have time to sit down and go, right, I'm going to play 3 hours of this game, which is all about the story. And if it doesn't get me, I have wasted 3 hours. Because or I love this and it might get me and I'm well into it.
So what do we do then?
How do we resolve this? It's like a Mexican standoff.
Well, it's not, because I can't vote for cutting Knockout and Scarlet, which I love, when I haven't played Life is Strange. I simply can't.
I mean,
not
exactly.
illogical.
I have not played Life is Strange. That's why it's really hard for me, because I'm like literally.
I'm not saying Adam's
I've played
wrong.
2
I'm
out of
saying
3, so I'm going
for me to vote on that.
Yeah,
I'm not saying he's wrong. I'm not saying Chris is wrong. I'll be honest with you. The game I'm starting to think might have to go here, if it really is a case of no one's budging on these 3, I wonder if Tales of Arise is number 6.
What?
It is another one of those where it is a fucking big franchise name. When that game was announced, people were like, Tales. I remember it's not a series we've ever covered in depth. We've reviewed all the games, but I remember seeing the numbers on videos and traffic, and I'm like, shit, yeah, and Tales is a huge franchise with a massive amount of fans. Sean Smith, for example, one of our freelancers, still talks to me about how he remembers the hate he got for giving one of those games a 7. They are a big franchise, so it is kind of that Metroid thing of, I'm not surprised.
Why would you be cutting it if you literally have been blown away by it?
Yeah,
because you won't cut Life is Strange, and I won't cut Knockout, and It Takes Two. We were in impasse.
I won't cut Tales of Arise. I said I won't cut Tales of Arise.
So I still don't fully understand why Tales of Arise was such a surprise.
This is what I'm getting at.
That's the category. Not a good game. Not knocking it. I love it. I've been playing it recently a lot. But as a surprise,
this is what I'm getting at.
In a list of games where we've gone, fucking hell, I wasn't expecting this. I was expecting that to be good.
Tales was a surprise because of everything that Chris said already. But when the previews are coming out of Tales, I was kind of like, holy shit, this looks really seriously good. Like, you know, I've been playing all the previous Tales games beforehand, and they are what they are. They're very fucking niche. They're very just shitty characters, and to a certain degree, and like very, very forgettable stories. Arise fixes all that on top of having probably the best combat in any Tales game ever.
Right, but we could discuss that in like other categories, can't we?
But that is surprising. Like, what?
Yeah, but nearly every game on the list was surprising because someone thought it was shit and then it wasn't.
This is not about surprises.
It's not about.
That's what I mean. I just don't understand how that is a bigger surprise than say Knockout City or It Takes Two or I know we're not discussing that,
But like, you could argue the same thing about Life is Strange, right? Because like Life is Strange had games before it that people fell off of. But like, I don't buy the logic that a lot of people were fans before. It doesn't mean that Tales of Arise wasn't a massive step forward for the combat. That combat is, you know, and I would argue that Tales of Arise does a lot of things even better than the amazing stuff Scarlet Nexus does. That we all love Scarlet Nexus for. We just hadn't really heard what Scarlet Nexus was about. I didn't think Scarlet Nexus, so spoilers, would be topped this year for me in the JRPGs, and it was. So I'm, you know, I guess I know we're going around in circles a little bit, but
I just don't. I think that you got 2 games there in particular, probably Tales of Arise and Life is Strange, where the big. I don't understand what was shockingly surprising about either game. That's what I'm asking. Like, I'm not saying not good. I'm not saying you weren't blown away. I'm not saying you don't love it. I'm saying, why was it a surprise for you? Why were you like, fuck, this is really good? I didn't.
They just added way more weight to it. Like in every area, I felt like you were genuinely playing that because you were just like previous Tales games going, yeah, cool. This is just going to be whatever, and then you just accept it for what it is. It's the fact that, like, after all this time, they really, really did make a difference in it. They made the game feel extremely good. Adam Cook is somebody who fucking doesn't give a shit about that series, and then was blown away by it. That's a huge surprise and a huge achievement for that.
But then they didn't do that with Life is Strange because, as you said, you liked the first one, you didn't like the second one. I'm just saying we're not picking.
I feel like
we've got to take one off.
That dodgeball game was their first game. That was their first original game. They made Mario Kart, the augmented reality one that came out on Switch. This was their first game, and they went.
I mean, I don't have a dog in the fight for any of these games, but we need to fucking move on and pick one.
I feel like
we're just going on and on about the same fucking.
Okay, so I have a point and then a question, and I'm going to make someone make a decision in a minute. I'm not going to lie, but like. We've literally gone around and said, should it be Life is Strange versus this game, Life is Strange versus that game, and it always come back to Life is Strange or something else. And I feel like at some point we have to go, I'm sorry, it's not Life is Strange. Life is Strange has got a cut because we keep feeling like we bank one and then we move that against Life is Strange. And Adam Carroll, sorry, if I said to you, Life is Strange or Tales of Rise,
what are you picking?
What are you cutting?
I'll be cutting Tails.
Really? Well, that's fucking backfired on me then.
I'm sorry. That's how strongly I feel towards Life is Strange.
But you can put that on your list. This is a group of 6 people. But we have to move on. We have to move on.
So what? Do you want Life is Strange cuts off? Is that what the group
I
is saying
can't
here?
force you to change it. You and Chris.
Well, me and Adam
White
picked it for our cut, so you know what
I can't. I'm not hearing anything other than they made a good Life is Strange game, and I don't think that's surprising. They should do. They changed developer for fuck's sake. They don't. The original developer doesn't even own the rights to that game. They've said they're happy to work on it if they're asked, but Square Enix own that game and told Deck 9, who aren't called Deck 9 either anymore, to go and make a Life is Strange game, and they did, and they made a good one, and cool. That's good. But like, it's not on the same level as Bandai Namco publishing a game that's that weird. Even for them, how weird it is. It's not on the level of Tales of Arise changing the combat for the first time in. Don't know. It's not on the scale of an indie developer getting EA to publish a game about dodgeball that's actually a shooter, or It Takes Two, which is a co-op only experience, or Psychonauts 2, which is 10 years in the making.
If you're going to cut Life is Strange, I'm just going to say this right now so it's on record. Adam Cook, when you play this game, you're going to eat your fucking socks because you're going to come back going, fucking hell, the music, the acting, the story. You're going to be so annoyed because this shit happened with me with Shadow of War.
I'm okay with that. I've been willing to sit here and let Death Stranding get a 3rd place with all my negative feelings about it.
I knew that'd come back.
No, I'm just saying. I have always believed if you're wrong, you put your hand up and say I'm wrong. I'm in the minority here. It might not be what I think is fair, but I'm in the minority here in that respect. And I'm not knocking Life is Strange. I'm just saying the company it's trying to keep here is like it's on a pedestal above it for me. All of them. Like I would not be against Tales of Rise going, but what Chris has said about it, and the more I think about it, that game has some of the biggest changes in the series history.
Yep.
And it is a big franchise. And it's a risk financially to change something fans love. And then you've got 1, 2, 3 indie games that 2 of which I don't think should even exist, yet alone both be published by EA, and Scarlet Nexus, which is, I mean, that's just got to be on this list. I'm not against Life is Strange. I just don't see how the hell it's a good Life is Strange. If Life is Strange didn't have a good story, didn't have good music, didn't have good acting, what the fuck are they doing?
But sure, like you could
shouldn't exist.
Fucking game.
Well, no, because that's all it is.
Didn't have that. It's just one of those things that like you do have to kind of play it to experience, obviously, and you're literally you have in your brain the previous games. That is it. That is all it is.
I've only played the first one.
Oh Jesus! Then,
but I really like the first one.
I can't make any more of an argument on it. I think we're making it's a mistake. It's a mistake to call it, but look, whatever. It is what it is.
Chris White, I have to have your okay as well. You were on that train.
Well, no, but I would rather cut Knockout City. But it's a case of who wants what out of the 2, I think.
I just don't see how. I'm surprised that you picked that, actually. I really am.
But I was massively surprised by Life is Strange. So
you were massively surprised by Knockout City. I remember playing it with you.
No, I know, but I'm having to choose between 2 games, so that's what I choose.
Knockout City's made by indie dev, published by the one. Huh? No, we can't.
Yeah. Just thought I'd ask.
It's only me and Chris that can back Life is Strange, so that's just it. Like, if you guys vote against it, it is what it is.
Well, Mick voted to keep Knockout City.
There you go. I'm sure Do you pick Knockout City? Chris, you pick Knockout
So
City?
if we're saying that it's between those two, then I guess that's the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
Lyle, Mick, am I wrong? Right?
Yeah, I kind of wish I'd played Life is Strange, but I didn't really have time.
No,
I can't. Unfortunately, I haven't played Life is Strange, so I can't vote against it. That's why I didn't vote against it. I voted Scarlet Nexus because of the games I have played on that list. But you know, I mean, a lot of these games are going to come up later. A lot of them are going to be discussed in other categories, I think.
Is it purely getting cut because only 2 have played it?
Well, I think so. I think it has to, though. It's the
I'm just going to say, Chris White, we're fucked for best moment, lad.
There's a few of them. Executive decision. It's gone. We need to now work out what number 1 is. Do we all agree? We sort of alluded to it earlier. Are we all in agreement?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did not expect it to be.
Knockout City's 5, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think after.
Otherwise, I think Adam Carroll will just throw things.
Right, I'm just not trying to rush us along. I'm going to do that, and I'm going to say I think that's it, and I want to see what you guys think. And I'll read it for the audience. And that's 5 Knockout City, 4 Scarlet Nexus, 3 Psychonauts 2, 2 Tales of Arise, and 1 It Takes Two.
I would have put them in that order. So yes, for me, 100%.
Well, we know 1 and 5 are what they are. We know that.
I'd have put all 5 of them in that order. So
I would swap Scarlet Nexus and Psychonauts 2.
I'm fine with that.
I would be fine with that.
Thanks, lads.
Lyle?
Lars going to swap Psychonauts to Scarlet Nexus.
And I would be fine with that.
I was about to ask if we'd swap Scarlet Nexus and Knockout City, but I don't think I'm going to get away with anything like that.
Knockout City has to be 5, man, for where the arguments were.
From the conversation.
It can't.
Yeah.
If it goes any higher, I'm going to be furious, because why did we just spend 3/4 of an hour arguing over whether it made it in the list or not?
Yeah, but
it has to be.
Yeah, that was the only sort of change. I mean, in general, it's pretty good in it, that list.
That's a damn fine list. All 5 of those games are very much nice surprises.
Yeah.
Are we writing it off and moving on to the only negative category in the books? So it's come to the time of the podcast on day 1, which is sort of cathartic in a way, but it's never one you enjoy. Like I always, whenever we talk about categories, I always think about, do we really want to focus on the negative? Yeah, just for half an hour or so. We do. Biggest disappointment of 2020. Can anyone remember it? Because I tell you what, I wish I hadn't looked. Because I look at the top 3, because it's a list of 3, this one. It's misery. Anyone?
I can't remember.
Halo, we said that, didn't we?
Delays were on there, weren't they? Just like console shortages.
Console shortages was number 3. No, Cyberpunk didn't somehow make it. The fan reaction to The Last of Us 2.
Oh god.
Oh yeah.
And I there's no context here. It's just number 2 is Halo Infinite. I'm guessing the delay.
It was the delay and the Craig thing and
yeah.
So we've got 19 listed for biggest disappointment, and a little less ethereal and more just a list of games. So, biggest disappointment: Monster Hunter Rise, eFootball 2022, Bravely Default 2, Oddworld Soulstorm, Balan Wonderworld, Kenna Bridge of Spirits, 12 Minutes, Biomutant, The Ascent, Ghosts and Goblins Resurrection, Dungeons and Dragons Dark Alliance, No More Heroes 3, Aliens Fireteam Elite, The Good Life, Skyward Sword HD, Resident Evil Village, Back 4 Blood, Lost in Random, Grand Theft Auto, the Trilogy Definitive Edition. Can we just cut Ghosts and Goblins Resurrection straight away? Just because, like, nobody cares.
Yeah. And I hated it, but
no, I agree, but nobody cares, do they? Like?
Can you take Back 4 Blood off that list as well? What the fuck is that doing on the biggest disappointment of the year list?
This is the easiest list to cut, to be fair.
Yeah.
Some wankers have put Monster Hunter Rise on here, right? Skyward Sword and Resi Village.
Right.
Hold up a second. Lyle, you were about to say something about Back 4 Blood, were you?
Yeah, I put this on there. It's probably... It is in my top 3 biggest disappointments of the year. It 100% is.
You've had a good year then. Really?
Well,
I can't.
Let's hear him out.
I know what he's reviewed this year as well. And I'm looking at this list. I'm like, really?
Yeah. So I think I think Back 4 Blood has so many things in it that are a step down from the Left 4 Dead games, which I've put
What?
thousands of hours
Let
in.
him speak.
I think the special infected in there are awful. I think the card system is just like completely pointless. In general, I think I've still played it a bit, and I'd still say like if I was gonna review it, I'd give it like a 7. Like it's not a terrible game, but
Better
I'd
than
give.
Breath of the Wild.
I'm
Then.
just going to drink
Well-
it from the bottle now. That's
like-
the comment of the year.
But like the Left 4 Dead games are like solid 10s,
That's
and I was
too
so excited.
hang on.
For this.
So just so we're clear, the biggest disappointment of the year is a 7.
Like I said, I want his life. He's had a good
Yes.
year.
because I'm looking at a game on this list that you reviewed, and I'm like, no.
Oh, yeah.
Is that number
No.
13?
That's on
No,
the
it's
top
number
3 as well,
5.
okay,
Yeah, number 5 on this list.
but
Oh,
yeah,
shit.
I really,
want-
I get that you have reservations about it, but I can't see how you can have Back 4 Blood as the biggest disappointment. It's fucking great. I mean, I really like the card system. I think they added something to it. They could have not had that, and everyone would have gone.
Calm down, Mick. It's not. It's coming off the list. Don't worry. Like it's coming off.
I really like you, Lyle.
We love
but-
you. But
but
I think there's going to be a few of those where I really like you, Ad. I really like you, Chris,
Please,
but
let's just thank you. It's gone.
I mean, I
respect your opinion.
absolutely, but there are at least 3-4 people here who really like that game, and it's like it's
yeah,
not the.
I didn't think it was actually going to make the
But
list.
you got to have your say on it at least. That's the point. Isn't it?
You got to have, yes, you did.
Can I make a quick cut that I don't think many people will disagree on? I don't think this game is amazing nor a disappointment. I just feel the series is what it is, and I don't think it can go any further than what it is.
No more
Oddworld
hero-
Soulstorm.
Yeah,
I think Oddworld Soulstorm is a very fine game. It wasn't.
I don't think it's disappointing.
Man,
I just
Really.
I've never ever liked Oddworld.
They're releasing the enhanced
So-
edition as well. aren't
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's come out.
I was a fan of Abe and stuff back.
yeah,
in
I
the
don't
day.
think anyone
Never
was
been a fan of Oddworld.
bitterly
so it was-
disappointed.
I think
with
it's
it.
all right.
not at
It's
all.
all right.
Just yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's not a
no,
disappointment.
I'd go so far as to say I think it's actually quite good.
Yeah,
I don't know why I'm
but
saying
it
it's all right. I
doesn't
think it's
deserve
quite
to be
good.
here.
I didn't play Soulstorm, but you know.
No, it's
it-
you
yeah.
should have. It's on PS Plus. But if you don't like them games, you're not going to like this.
No.
It's one of them.
Isn't 12 minutes about fucking dogs? Isn't that like the whole?
No,
No,
no, it's
no.
definitely not. You're thinking of
Murder
something else.
mystery.
No, that's the good life. I think is
12 minutes is that like movie thing with William Dafoe and
Yeah.
Voice
Is it?
acting,
Isn't
Jack
like the
White.
twist in it though? Like
No.
really fucked up.
yes, but it's not
Yeah,
about
it's
shagging
it's
dogs.
not about dogs.
I'm not sure where or what sites you've been reading, but it's there's no bestiality I'm aware of in that. Maybe there's an ending I haven't seen. I think 12 minutes needs to stay for now
I do too.
because
Yeah, I
although
never played it. I was
although-
just-
no,
I-
but it's an indie game, fair play. But it's
I
got
know
like
it
William
upset a lot of
Dafoe
people
and
by not being great.
yeah. I think Bravely Default 2 has to go because I just don't think anyone's fussed about it. It's not bad.
I think some people really enjoyed it and some people
Yeah,
didn't.
it's
I don't think
not- it's
people
not
were
bad, it's
bitterly
just-
disappointed with
Yeah.
it.
I
Who
think
here
it-
was bitterly disappointed about Resi?
Hi everybody.
He's
It's
back
only
for
a
blood.
7.5.
I don't know which of Resi Village or Back 4 Blood I'd put above in terms of my disappointment because I loved Resi 7 and I thought Resi Village was like after maybe the first quarter really quite bad.
I thought it was very similar to 7. Just
I-
led
I-
into the action more.
I have to say I'm kind of with Lyle. It's just
Chris
What,
is
you
good.
put it as top
No.
3 disappointments of the
Sorry,
year?
yeah, you
It's-
guys both
it's-
are aware we only have 3 in this category.
3
I
spots.
fucking know. I'm
and
just saying.
and
at the top.
eFootball
All the other
2022
games.
is on there.
Yeah.
And
Then fucking look, leave Village there for now. We can get to it later, right? We can
No,
get to it later.
remove it.
it's
That's
obscene.
not coming in the top 3.
I
Come on.
can't see that getting in the top
No.
3, surely.
Silent
I think-
Wonderland's still on the list.
We have right. Can we
I-
talk about the big games that each one of us have put on here?
Although if
So
you
we can
think
have a
it's going to be
rant
shit
and
and
we
then
can
it's
move
shit,
on.
that's not a disappointment, is
But it
it?
wasn't
we
shit.
do. No, I'm saying that's what I mean though. Like you know,
Maybe
talking
Niall's
about
angry
games
that
like-
it wasn't shit. I don't know.
Yeah, like
It's not
eFootball
shit.
22. Did anyone think that was going to be?
They might release
yeah,
a whole game.
yeah. I did think, given that they'd taken a year off
Yeah.
to do it in a new engine, and then decided to go free to play, they wouldn't have basically gone, here you go, EA, here's the keys to the kingdom, because we're not even considered competition anymore. Maybe they haven't been for a year. Yes, eFootball is absolutely in the top 3. I don't know how that's... I mean, fucking hell. What are they doing? It's
literally
delayed...
a one-game market now. It's literally...
They've killed... By doing what they've done, they have destroyed the market, and now the next FIFA will be lazy because they don't have any reason not to be. It's hugely disappointing.
Adam Carroll and Mick can roll up and go, isn't it just football again in FIFA 23? And you'll be right.
Yeah, you'll be right. Look, let's get into this, right? I don't think Kenna Bridge of Spirits needs to be on this list.
No.
It's a fine game. It's not the game I think people want it to be, like this incredible experience. It's not disappointing. It's fine. And you know what? It's one of those where it's a bit of a throwback. And even if that's true, it looks so damn good that I don't mind.
It was just a nice game to play, I thought, as well. Yeah, I just chilled out with it.
That's gone.
You still didn't delete Bravely.
Oh, sorry. Well,
Bravely Default
2 can go unless anyone's got any...
No, I just love the fact that our 2 hot picks are still sitting there and no one's moaning about them. I think it's great.
Skyward Sword, doesn't that need to go? Because wasn't that on a shortlist earlier for...
Yeah. It was, but I want to have my moment.
I won, Chris.
I know.
What moment? Because we've already had this on, like... What was it? It was on best re-release. It can't be on a big...
And I disagreed with it, didn't I? If you remember, for this moment. No, right, okay. So... I can appreciate some of the things that Skyward Sword HD did in its remake, but
So it was only a 7.
It's the worst 3D Zelda, categorically. You don't think?
No, I fucking don't.
No.
Jesus
okay, name a worse one.
No, not on a podcast. No, I'm not getting involved.
But anyway,
Niall, you just go away. I'm not speaking about Zelda on this podcast. He's to your bottom left, I think.
Anyway, for me, the annoying thing about Skyward Sword, the biggest disappointment for me, is that Nintendo have done Zelda remakes before, and have absolutely fucking nailed it. They nailed that Wind Waker HD remake, like, properly, in terms of identifying what was wrong with that game. Despite it being amazing, there were still things it could do better, and they identified the things that could be improved, and they implemented them into that remaster. What they did with Skyward Sword, they did a couple of things, and then they just shat on the rest of it. That game, for me, is so disrespectful of your time, because it just keeps telling you to go from one area, then back, and another area, and back, and just doesn't give a shit about how long it takes to do those things, and they're not fun to do. So
like Animal Crossing.
It's literally like right. Okay, so the best bit about any Zelda game, I'd like to think people that like Zelda games would agree, is the dungeons by far. Right, for me anyway, it's personal highlight of Zelda games. In Skyward Sword HD, the point I fell off at the second point, the time I was playing the HD remake. Got into a dungeon, furthest I'd ever got, because I stopped the original game on the Wii before this point, so I'd got further than that. And get into a dungeon, and you're like, okay, I've had to work hard to get here, but that's fine. It's fine. Get into it, and it goes, go a few rooms in, and then it goes, oh, there's a blockage here. You need to go and do something to deal with it. So I've got to go and leave the dungeon, go to a completely new area, figure out what I need to do it, then try and come back to the area with the dungeon in, but then I can't go back in the dungeon because Nintendo wants me to go through this other section that wasn't there before, but they've just decided to create it so I can even get back in the dungeon.
Are you aware you're describing all of video games?
No, I'm not, because that's never happened in a Zelda game before, where I'm in a dungeon and I've now got to do about like 5 hours worth of work just to progress the dungeon that I'm currently in. That is a game that has put excessive padding in, thinking it's clever, and it's not. Okay. It's wasting my time.
It's
not added it. It was there to begin with.
Yeah,
they've not added it to the
no.
remake.
My disappointment is that they have taken things like the opening town sequence and shortened that.
Yeah, much.
They have taken other criticism like Fee, who can be shot into the sun for all I care, and reduced her a little bit, but they've left all of this to and fro-in, which adds hours to the game that is completely unnecessary, and just gone, that's as good as it is. and not done anything with it. And
So
that pissed
you're
me off
angry
because
that it's not perfect. Because
I'm angry that
you're
the
angry
thing.
that
No,
they
I'm
didn't
angry that
change
the
some
thing that
stuff.
caused. I'm angry that the thing that caused me to. The only 3D Zelda game I've never finished, the thing that caused me to bounce off the original, hasn't been addressed in the remake. That's what I'm
Right.
disappointed. I'm disappointed that because I want to finish this game, but I literally took that game. And went, I'm fucking done. I can't. I'm
But
not.
all the criticisms that people had of it at the time when it was reviewed, they've been fixed.
Mine haven't.
Yeah, but you didn't review it. They're not making the game for Chris. It's mass
Yeah,
market.
but I'm telling you about my biggest disappointment. I'm not
Okay,
talking about
but
some
that's
random
fine, but, like,
reviewer. What?
But it's not your list. It's
No, but I'm telling you why I put it on this list.
okay.
That's
So
what I'm
all right,
telling
that's
you.
fine. That's fine. That's fine.
In the same way
upset.
that you're going to talk to us about Monster Hunter Rise, and we're all going to laugh at you.
Okay. So are we deleting Skyward or not?
Yeah, I just wanted my moment to moan about it
That's fine.
because it's pissed me off. No, it's
it's
disappointed
fine.
me this year. It really is.
Okay.
It's pissed me off because I really thought that with the remaster,
Fucking glad he's only on water.
I would
Yeah.
literally be, I would be finishing this game,
Okay.
and I won't be, and that's really
It's
disappointing
good.
to me.
It's a fucking great game, man.
It's in moments.
It's a fucking boot from
It's
Carol.
got a great moment. It's a 50-hour, it's a 25-hour game made a 50-hour game because it just doesn't give a shit about your time.
It's gone now.
Yeah, it's gone. It's gone. But fair play. Biomutant.
Didn't play it.
Yeah, this is
play
the
it
thing.
because I thought it was
I feel
shit.
like first game from a developer. I don't really think people were looking at it going, "Oh, this is the Messiah in video game form."
No, I think it was worse than I thought it was going to be, but I still enjoyed it. I played
It's
it all.
also you
finished
could
it,
also
did the
argue it's
extras.
better than it was going to be.
Yeah,
The problem for me was nothing to do with the world, nothing to do with how it looked. It was purely the weight of the combat.
yeah. The combat
it
was
felt
all
so
wrong.
lacking. Otherwise, I
Yeah.
think I'd have quite liked it, which is not that. Dungeons and Dragons: Dark Alliance.
Oh, that was poo, wasn't it?
Oh, the box
But
quotes
I
are all
didn't
coming out
expect it
tonight.
to not be poo. I didn't expect that to not be shit. I thought this looks shit, and it was shit. So I don't think I was disappointed because it's Dungeons and Dragons, and it's got the Dark Alliance name. And if you remember, Dark Alliance was fucking great back in the day, and then they did nothing at all like what made Dark Alliance good in the first place. They just used the name to sell it, and it had fuck all. We've got Dritz and fucking all these guys again. Who gives a fuck? The only people who care about those are the people who are really, really into those stories. I mean, they could have used any characters in any. It's so generic; it could have been anything. It didn't have to be Dungeons and Dragons and Dritz Duerden and all that lot. It could have been any three random warriors, fucking smacking orcs.
But not the most disappointing or biggest disappointment.
Probably
of
not
all.
the biggest disappointment of the year, but it was shit.
Resident Evil Village has to go.
Of course it does. I
Yeah,
told you
yeah.
that fucking
Yeah,
10 minutes ago.
Yeah, I know. Okay.
Fine.
Can you get Rise out of the way so we can
Oh,
move it off
come
this
on.
list?
I will.
It's not the
I'm
biggest.
not quite.
It's
I've had
not one of
quite
the
a few.
three biggest.
Quite a few Roman Cokes. I need to just get my thoughts.
You can take off Lost and Random there. We fucking.
I think he just cut Resi Village then because he wanted Rise to stay on longer than it.
I think you could probably cut Lost in Random. No one really hated that. Or
No,
was
I
really strongly
get rid of it.
disappointed by
I
it.
do
Get
want
rid
to
of
talk
it.
about that.
I
To be
liked
honest,
it.
I want to
I
talk
liked
about it.
it.
Oh,
was,
Chris, you want to talk? Okay.
I put it on there.
Jesus. Fuck the hell.
I think the
He
disappointing
comes
thing about
across
this
quite
game,
nicely, but he's really full of hate.
it's no. I just this game for me was almost like a game of two halves. Like the first half of the game, I was
Yes.
like, I
Yes.
actually
That
really.
came before the second half.
It did, yeah. I really like this. I'm really into it. I'm really into the deck building, the whole kind of like the dice rolling stuff. Quite like
Yeah.
it, you know. This could go somewhere.
It doesn't though, does
the world doesn't just not go anywhere. It gets
It stays.
worse.
Yeah.
It gets worse. That's the thing.
Yeah.
The nature of its dynamic with the whole
Battles
random
get
dice
longer.
rolls,
They get too long as
the
well.
battles get too long, and you can't really change your deck. I didn't change my deck for the whole game because I had to make sure I had cards in there.
I
in
felt the
case
promise
I
of
rolled
the deck was greater than the actuality of the deck. Like I felt like the promise was, oh, this could be really cool, my unique venture. Whereas in actual fact, it's like, well, I have to have the sword, I have to have the bow. Oh, there's a 3 thing now where I can do like a big, what is it, like the big axe or mallet or so. I've got to have that. And then there's like your buffs and a bomb. And it's like I can't do without any of these.
Yeah, and then
It needs to give you a bigger deck rather than more cards.
Yeah, I also feel like I needed to have like the ones that reduce the cost, just in case I rolled a 1.
Yep.
Or ones that get me extra
Which you
cards.
do early on a lot, because you can only roll a 1 or a 2.
But then even when you could roll a 6, you can still roll a 1. You're like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
And then, but then also
that'll be a dice roll for you.
Yeah, yeah. But like also to your point, the cards never get any better. Like 3's the max. So like you don't ever get to a point where you're like, I've got further in the game and I've unlocked this much more powerful card now. So I'm going to take the weaker cards out of my deck and I'm going to. None of it feel, and all the like side quests is just you unlock duplications of cards you've already got. So it just feels like, none of the boss battles are hard because they can't be, because you could keep rolling ones.
You might not have.
So it has to dial it down, and
it's attritional based rather than
it's just
skill.
It was so disappointing because the world building's good, the characters are all right, the idea at the start is so good, and then because they stick to this, because they stick to this mechanic, it falls on its ass. In the second half of the game, I just felt it got worse because of that dynamic, and that was really disappointing to me because I was really in for it in the first half.
But
so I don't think it'll make the top 3, but it is disappointing that game drops off the way it does.
Okay. I don't think the Ascent is probably one of the 3 biggest disappointments of the year.
So I was going to back this, but if you're not, then it's pointless. I will say
it was disappointing. I thought it was going to be more.
I think because there's only
actually was
because there's only 3.
Yes, I think 5. This makes it.
I think if there was a top 5, this would make the top 5.
Because I enjoyed the Ascent, but I the way it was marketed, the way it looks so good.
It's so boring to play.
It's got that really cool mechanic where you can use cover and stuff.
I don't think that's as cool as it first appears, though. I think it's actually
annoying. That's maybe my point. It starts off as, oh, this is cool. I can take cover in an isometric game, which is a bit different than what it. And then it's the
storytelling is atrocious.
What I would say about
it's not great.
The Ascent is if we had a top 5, I would really be fighting for it strongly, because I feel like if you kept the Ascent as it is but added the combat from a game called Anvil Vault Breakers into it,
Anvil's it's quite good.
Yeah. So the Ascent's gone.
I would take it off, but if it was.
I'm still amazed. Rise has made it to a top 8. Can we just say? Because
can I just talk about Fireteam?
Can we talk about Rise?
Absolutely. No, Nick can talk about Aliens Fireteam completely.
This can't, look, guys. You know what he's doing, right?
I know exactly what he's doing.
It so that it gets on. He cannot.
It wants
to talk about Aliens.
He'll cry about it making a top 5 biggest disappointments, and it won't. It should have gone like 10 goes ago.
Would I?
Yes.
Would I do that? So you don't think Aliens should be on this list?
I don't think it's one of the biggest disappointments of the year because, again,
I think it's one of the biggest missed opportunities of the year.
Yes, it is a missed opportunity. It was another game where I went, oh, it's Aliens. It's probably going to be shit because it's not Alien Isolation. Like, Alien games don't have a good track record. It wasn't a surprise that it wasn't great. Mm-hmm. I think the reason Alien Isolation works so well is because that takes what the xenomorph is and it puts you in that position and you're being stalked by a thing that you can't kill. That's what Alien is, right?
Yeah.
Aliens is about a bunch of Marines mowing down aliens. That's fine. But when the aliens fucking get you, you're dead. Like, that's the thing. I can't stand these games where the aliens fucking bounce off you and they hit you with that little inner mouth and you sort of stagger backwards and then carry on shooting them, or you get covered in fucking acid and then you just have to wait until your bar fills up. It's bullshit and it doesn't work, and that's why Aliens games don't work, because
can I say that the AI in Aliens Fireteam Elite is the biggest disappointment of the year?
Yeah, but that's not fair because it is not designed to be played. They shouldn't have even. Well, we've seen games do this.
I think what you're saying there. What you're saying there, Mick, is that like it's when you're working with a team, it does not work because you go in with a strategy in mind of going right, set this up. But then it just goes to shit and everyone's all over the place. What I will say about it is an absolute missed opportunity.
It's a good game though. Like, it's fun to play.
I think
I did have fun with it, but
the days are done with these fucking franchises and this kind of skin getting a very thin game overall. It just takes that kind of like, this could definitely work as a good game if it was deeper. But what I will say about it though, it looked pretty good. It did look pretty good.
It is not top 3 biggest disappointments of the year.
No, it had everything you wanted it to have visually and orally in a in an Aliens game. It had everything like they nail it. They always do. It's got the
Maybe
motor
we knew
tracker
what we were
noise
getting.
and the pulse rifle noise. All that stuff's there. And for fans, it's got all the quotes. It's got all that shit. Was just like, I love it. But the actual gameplay was just piss poor, really.
Yeah.
Chris White,
Yeah.
you reviewed The Good Life, sweary game.
Still doing it, lads. Have you not spotted it?
You reviewed the sweary game, The Good Life. The question I would put to you, I've followed this for a while. I'm not suggesting you put this on the list either. I thought this wasn't going to be great. Just everything about it, I saw all the lead up to it, the Kickstarter stuff. It never looked like it was going to be great.
I'm looking forward to playing it. I don't know.
Why shit?
Yeah, I don't know. I know it's going to be, but I'm going to have a bit.
It's not a biggest
You'll play
disappointment.
it for you'll play it for half an hour and be like, nah, this is bollocks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's kind of.
And I didn't expect it to be any better.
I'm disappointed I didn't play it, but
I'm not.
it's not really the point, is it?
Is it? No. Chris White, is it on this list?
No, because I thought it would be pretty shit, and it was.
We're into the business end here.
You've
Just
got
a Monster Hunter Rise.
You've got to do Monster Hunter.
We ain't
Rise.
going to continue
Because
until we talk.
I
about
can't
this.
believe you dragged it on this far, you prick.
There's several more on there that really can't.
Yeah.
Even in the
Go on,
top
so
three.
look at him swigging his little
Literally 5 versus 1. Go.
Oh, I have no doubt this one will not make it onto the list, but I can now officially confirm that at the very least, it is the 6th biggest disappointment of the year.
Yeah, prick. Told you that.
Monster Hunter Rise, right? So, I totally appreciate that Monster Hunter, as a franchise, as a series, has its roots in Nintendo. Okay? Totally appreciate that. Nintendo has also always, as far as I can remember, really, always had, of a generation, the sort of most underpowered hardware. When you want to compare the Wii to its competition, Nintendo's always just that little bit, like the Switches. So when they announced this, I was like, oh yeah, I'll be well up for it. Monster Hunter World was fucking great. New Monster Hunter Rise, exclusively for Switch, and you're like, oh, we're back to this, are we again? Okay, cool. And that was disappointing for a start, that they would turn that they opened this series up to a bigger audience and allowed people in the door to play it on PlayStation, to play it on Xbox, to play it on PC, although World came later to PC as well. But in terms of console choices, you couldn't play it on PC. Mm-hmm. So to open it up and for it to be the biggest selling Monster Hunter in World, to make it so that it would bring people together playing games like we did. I think, Chris, the first time we ever spoke, was playing World, wasn't it?
Yeah, probably
potentially.
Yeah.
I found it massively disappointing then to be going backwards to a system that not only is underpowered, but also has no real good way or easy way of actually doing voice chat. And the thing I really like about Monster Hunter Rise is similar to what you and I have with New World, in that you kind of just play it, you know what you're doing, basically, and you're chatting away with your mates. It's the world we're living in at the moment. This happens more where you meet people online and you don't necessarily meet them in real life until much later. And it happens with kids now as well. Like, it's just a generational thing. This is what the society is now, like it or not. To go back to a situation where you can't do that, or certainly can't easily do that, was disappointing. To launch the game without an ending was disappointing. I just think that they didn't own all that, plus the fact I think they went sideways. They added a grapple hook to it of sorts, and that's cool and that's great fun. But they went backwards. The series has gone backwards with this game. It's massively gone backwards. With World, they started to broaden it and bring in the public, I guess, rather than, if you're not into... And I fucking hate that elitist shit. I hate it. I'm sorry, I know it'll annoy people. I hate it when people are elitist about video games. They should be for everyone. They're supposed to be for everyone. So I hate it when shit's elitist like that. And to take it back to that, where it's like, you can only do this and you can only do that, and this is how long you've got for that, and this is how long you've got for that, and if you want to chat to your mates, good luck, get Discord involved, because... what's Discord? Oh, you'll figure it out. We don't have to. Fuck you. Everything about that is disappointing to me. The game itself plays fine, and it looks all right, and it runs all right, and it's not that it's not a good game, but everything surrounding that is such a disappointment to me that they have decided to go, you know, all that stuff you really liked, how you could just fucking go party chat, chatting with your mates, a couple of button presses. No, we're not doing that. No, sorry. You've got to get third-party software or somehow connect your phone to your Switch and then have an AirPod in this ear and then headphone on this ear. One's got the game in and one's got this. No. And that, to me, is tremendously disappointing. And I don't think for 1 second that it makes this list. But for me personally, and I say this as a man who, over my shoulder, there are 2 copies of the collector's edition up there. It is not that I don't like this series. I think they went backwards and sideways at the same time, and I don't see anything about this game that is moving forward. And the numbers they have and the numbers they make and the copies they sell, it should be better. There you go. I'll delete it off the list now. Right?
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so you've nothing to say about that. You think I'm completely wrong, and that's not disappointing. And you disagree with all of those comments.
No, I agree with everything. I just don't agree that it's one of the most disappointing.
Why?
Yeah.
What's more disappointing out of these 6 games?
Because
Than what I have just said, than what I have explained.
Well, because for me personally, I don't play Monster Hunter with people anyway. I play multiplayer, but I don't give a shit whether I talk to people or not. I know what I'm doing. I just play the game. So the fact that I can't chat to people, it's not a big deal. I'm not a very social gamer. So that side of things.
The fact that they reduced the scope compared to World, which you loved.
Well, see, I still got 200, 300 hours out of Rise. So, like,
I'm not saying it's a bad game. This is not the worst game of 2021.
They did dial it back, but again, it's like the Monster. There's 2 teams, so there's going to be a World 2. That's a different thing.
There's 3 teams now.
Well, either way. So, like, I didn't find I booted up Monster Hunter Rise. And I played through it for the review, and I couldn't get enough of it. At no point did I think this is a step backwards from World. It felt different to World.
I think it's a step back in World. It's even less accessible, and that pisses me off as well, quite honestly.
See, I just changed everything in the game to be the same as I had in World. All the controls, all that stuff.
I don't think you're helping its point. I think that's another disappointing thing.
Yeah, but I had to do that in World because the controls and everything in World are so weird for me anyway. So I had to do all that. I had to change all that. And the fact that I could still do that in Rise made it a similar experience. I like the fact that they added the Palamute so you could ride on it. I like the fact that they gave you those sort of different options of having the Palamute or the
Palico.
But not both, because you might, that would be fun.
Well, you can have both in single player.
Yeah, but not if you want to play with your mates as well. So.
Yeah, but it's a lot to have going on.
Why?
Like, and I don't feel like you would need all that stuff happening. Like, I get what you're saying, but at the same time, I don't think at no point was I like, why can't I bring both in when I'm playing with friends? Like, I didn't care.
No.
Like, and what I had for 200-300 hours of what I played of it, I loved it. I loved every minute of it. I never thought, I want to talk to people.
But I'm not asking you to vote for this as worst game of 2021. I have said it is a good game. I'm saying that I think that is one of the biggest disappointments because of how further backwards they moved.
But this is the
I
point.
wasn't personally disappointed. I didn't feel like the gameplay stepped back.
You're not going to put 100 hours into something if you're disappointed while you're playing it.
That's what people do with MMOs all the time. People play MMOs and do nothing but moan about them.
You don't put 100 hours into a game if it's your biggest
you're
disappointment.
laughing. Am I wrong? People play games like that or shooters, and all they do is moan about them.
Yeah, but
there are Reddits, designed for these people. They do nothing but complain about the game.
Yeah,
they still play. Hate this game. 1 out, 1 star. Steam review. 300 hours.
But what I'm saying is that the things you listed as your disappointments about the game, did not impact me in the same way as they impacted you.
And if you're all disagreeing with me, I'll delete it off the list. But I've not heard anyone say you're wrong. I've just heard you say, I love it. It feels really great.
You can't be wrong. You're stating an opinion. But I don't find that, you know, what you're saying is disappointing. Like, you can't do voice chat. I don't give a fuck. I didn't do voice chat anyway. The fact that you can't, like, for me personally, I don't care. The fact that the gameplay you say is a step back, I didn't feel it was a step back. Some of it was a lateral move. I thought adding the Palamutes into it so you had a mount all the time that you didn't have to. Like in World, you had to tame the mounts and do that weird quest and then whistle them and they'd come sometimes. They had it in Rise, you just had a mount.
But what you're saying to me is not good enough for a market leader. It's not good enough.
They made it vertical so that you could, like, you can't climb things in World. You can't be above the action. You can't do that sort of thing. Like, they added that stuff in Rise. That was an addition to what they had in World. I mean, all they really removed from the gameplay of World was the clutch claw, which the fans, if you read, were pissed off about anyway. Most people didn't like the clutch claw. There's a whole cadre of people that didn't want to even use it. They just pretended it didn't exist.
They also fucked up the multiplayer again. completely ignoring all the complaints about Worlds multiplayer and making it somehow worse.
But I got on fine with the Rise multiplayer. I just went to the
You play differently to me.
hub and
I want to
clicked
play
it and-
through the game cooperative with my friends. Can't do that. Not comfortably. Not easily.
Well, then that's a different opinion. But I'm saying I don't understand. No, I get why you were disappointed. I wasn't.
Yeah, and it's the same with me. I'm not arguing that I have to use Discord to chat to people. I'm saying it didn't bother me in the same way it doesn't bother me when I go into Discord and chat with you and play New World.
But you don't think it's disappointing that they literally didn't bother to fix half the stuff that was wrong with the previous game?
No, am I surprised there's not a Nintendo Online chat thing? No, of course I'm not. Yes, I wish
they chose to make it Switch only.
Yeah, but I've played Monster Hunter. Which one is it? 4 Ultimate on the Wii U, so I've been there. So it's not disappointing to me. Like I played hundreds of hours of that as well, like with some random Wii U chat function. Like I think I'm not disagreeing with the things that you're saying. I'm saying they didn't disappoint me. Putting I don't know how many hours into this game with a lot of people playing online, a lot of people in our patrons in our Discord and chatting to them over Discord.
And it lasted not even half as long as World. Why is that?
I don't know.
That doesn't disappoint you either.
I didn't play World with everybody either. So I don't do that. The only person I played World with regularly was Mikhail, who I still play Rise with.
I think I probably played Rise more with you guys than World because I haven't got the comparison of World. So you guys didn't play much World with me, so I don't know. So I can't comment on that part of it.
Okay.
All I know is
you're all saying it's deleted. I'd like to hear Adam, Chris, Lyle deleting it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'd be deleting it definitely.
So what's most disappointing then?
Oh,
this is juicy, isn't it?
Why?
Yeah.
You serious? The remake cash-in that nobody knew about, and people thought that was going to be good.
I know that was going to be, but when I look at this list, I go.
Isn't it more a case that Rockstar generally put out good stuff?
Yeah.
No, because they don't put out anything that doesn't make money. Rockstar have been making GTA 5 for fucking what? I don't know. That game's coming out on another console. They make what makes money. Yeah, but it makes money.
Good.
If I look at this top 5 list right now, GTA 5 is the one that I look at and go, what a fucking disappointment. 3 games that have such legacy, cash grab, bullshit fucking remaster, whatever you want to call it.
And by the time this podcast is out, they'll be playable and fine. They've already patched it once.
That doesn't matter.
It does, because people won't even remember it. They won't even give a shit.
I was excited, and I went in for it, and it was terrible. Everyone didn't like it. Like, everyone. Nobody played that fucking trilogy and went, this is exactly what I wanted. All the lies that were put out there, quality of life improvements, all that kind of shit. Lies.
How are they lies? They did change the way the guns feel.
There wasn't any improvements. It was shit. It was shit.
But they literally did add the quality of life improvements. They added the weapon wheel to it, for example. That is a quality of life improvement.
Weapon wheel, me arse.
But that is a quality of life improvement.
That's a fucking. I'm not. I know. Like, I'm not just accepting that as like, okay, then that's not a big disappointment. It was visually, it was a bad thing. If you look at these other ones here, Ban and Wonderworld. Okay, right. If you go into Ban and Wonderworld for a second, did anyone go into that going, this is going to be amazing?
Nope.
I'm not saying no one expected to be as desperate as it was, I think, but I wasn't going into that going, this is going to be fucking 9 out of 10.
No, it was. They even released a demo of it, and it was very, very obvious.
It's just to me, that's a shit game as well. Yeah, it's a shit game. Yeah.
I haven't played those. I haven't played any of those remaining games. So
I'm just like, I can't speak for eFootball. 12 minutes is something I can speak about that I played only this week for the first time.
Hang on, because we need to cut 2 more games before we really. Do you know what I'm saying? This is a top 3.
Top 3. We're positive people. Remember.
So we have to cut 2 more games.
What a disaster!
What about No More Heroes 3? Because I heard bad things about No More Heroes 3. And I never played it. I'm not a fan of the franchise. But a lot of people I spoke to who were playing No More Heroes 3 said it wasn't that great.
It wasn't that great.
It wasn't that great.
Yeah, but...
Like, wasn't it expected to be? Isn't this like a big franchise?
I don't think
it's not like something that...
No,
it isn't.
well,
maybe that can
it's not as big as something like a Monster Hunter Rise.
if you weren't expecting No More Heroes 3 to be good,
I
then
don't know.
could that not get...
The thing with Monster did it. No More Heroes 3.
You fuckers have stitched me up because I let you have Death Stranding and the passion with
I
which I
didn't have
spoke
Death
about.
Stranding. I don't give a fuck about Death Stranding.
You
but I
did.
did
You
care
said
about
you would.
Monster Hunter
I don't
Rise.
care about Death
Absolutely
Stranding.
did vote for Death Stranding, and the
I
passion with which I
liked
spoke
Death
about
Stranding.
Monster Hunter Rise, nobody has mentioned any of these games that much. Nobody. No one seems to give a shit about Balan. 12 minutes. No More Heroes is like, it's all right.
Well,
Grand Theft Auto's in there, maybe.
I mean, if you haven't let me speak, but that's fine. No More Heroes 3. The thing is, for me, I don't know if we get another one of those games, given how shit this one was.
He said there's no more. There was never any more. This was the last one.
This was always the last one.
Yeah,
It was actually
straight after the game came out.
Yeah, it was actually a really kind of sad note because he did genuinely express how disappointed he was in the fans of how they received the game. It was actually
game he made.
pretty sad to see.
But isn't that disappointing to go out on that note?
For him, yeah.
It's disappointing if it
But
maybe his biggest disappointment.
I think there's a part of me where I feel like I haven't played No More Heroes 1 or 2, but I in some ways think like, Jesus, I want to play them, but what were people wanting out of 3? Is 3 really that bad? Is it really that bad?
It's not. It starts off fine. It's pretty good, and then it just slowly goes off the cliff. And that's the disappointing element. Like,
someone sent me screenshots. I couldn't know if it was you.
Me.
Adam,
It was me.
Yeah, and I looked at it. I just thought, what the fuck am I even looking at?
Yeah, well, you're looking at what someone thinks is funny, but you have to actually play it.
Yeah.
Can I just say, like, I can't speak for eFootball. Is that kind of a lock? Because I cannot say anything about it.
Is this what used to be Pez? Is that what you
this
said?
is new Pez.
Right.
Like, is
For
this
me,
a lock?
For me, it's a lock given the ramifications.
It's the number one, surely.
I feel like,
I didn't argue with that then. If that's what that used to be, I mean, I don't know football games, but I know FIFA and Pez. And if that's
feel like the
destroy the legacy of Pez, then I get it.
Exactly. I feel like the ramifications of it are the biggest disappointment of the year.
I'd argue the game itself is still also the biggest. Not just. I'd agree with you, but I think the game itself is the biggest disappointment of the year.
I think we had a few years ago. You reviewed a Pro Evo and said that it was better than the FIFA that year.
They've always traded
to this level now.
Exactly.
Then okay.
I think that's a lock, and I think personally we can get rid of Balan.
The only thing about Balan is, I don't know, man. I've never been so angry playing a demo.
Yeah, but that's not a disappointment, is it? Because they did a demo, and the demo was naff, and then they did the game, and the game was naff.
And look, if we're saying, the demo has to be great to then trick you, and then the rest is shit to be a disappointment, then fine. then that's fine. In which case, it's just a shit game, and then it goes. But I don't know, man. It feels like
I think Chris is right because this is the guy who made Sonic, right? So I went in because I played. I didn't play the demo. I remember hearing Chris's chat about the Doors.
Podcast, don't bring that up.
But then I was like, all right, well, it can't be that bad. And then I live streamed my first impressions of it on our YouTube channel. And I think it was Phil. Who was there with me, and we're just like, fucking hell. It's awful, and like to go from such a fall from grace. I think.
I don't know that it is a fall from grace. He's not been making good Sonic games for long. He's made more bad ones than good ones.
The intro. I remember thinking in the intro, I was like, "Oh, this could look pretty tasty." The intro looked really nice.
There's nothing to do with the game.
I know, absolutely. But I'm just trying. I remember thinking that, and then just getting into the game and just feeling like I was just literally sumo wrestling with the camera.
I just don't think it's disappointing. I think that he has made more bad games than good, and that's not. I can't make any games. Who am I to talk? But like, I don't think it's a shock at all.
See, I don't know. I like a lot of old Sega 3D platformers, even some of the janky Sonics, some of the the Billy Hatchers and stuff like that. And I was kind of excited that this would be like an interesting. We don't get that many 3D platformers, although this year we've actually had quite a few.
Yeah, this year's been alright.
But like, it's not usually a genre that we get loads of games of. I was quite excited to get to try one. I played the demo and I wasn't particularly impressed, but I was like, well, maybe further on, and then I was the one who reviewed it, and I got further on, and I got further on than that, and I got further on than that, and it just sort of kept getting worse. Really, it was a really, really bad game, and I was quite excited about it for a while, just because that's the sort of game I'm quite into.
So what? So eFootball's a lock, right? We got one lock. We need to cut 2 games. What are we cutting?
Well, I'm not hearing people really thinking that No More Heroes is a lock.
What about 12 minutes though? Because we glossed over that. We mentioned it. Adam said he's been playing it, but then we never came back to it. So what was that? And I'm assuming, as someone who's not played it, that the biggest disappointment about that is that it's got people like Willem Dafoe and what's his name involved in that as well?
James McAvoy.
James McAvoy and Daisy Ridley, isn't it?
Yeah. So you've got 3 really big stars. I mean, Willem Dafoe is timeless, and then James McAvoy, everyone likes it. I mean, you got this. So was that the disappointment that they had that kind of star power and that kind of opportunity to grab people, and then
we haven't heard what Adam thinks of this game, because we've all spoken about on the podcast.
I won't spend too long on it. Okay. I think for me, on paper, I think when we all saw this game, it looked like the absolute business. I think we
had a great reveal.
We were very excited about it, the cast, everything like that, and then it gets its whole like movie kind of like event and all this kind of thing was going on. So on paper, this seemed like great. Then the reviews drop, and they're a bit kind of lukewarm, and it's like, oh, whoa, that's a surprise, whatever, grand. We're playing it this week. I have to say, like, when it started off playing it, I was like, oh, I'm into this. I go, this is all right. This is a bit of all right. And I was toying around with the premise and seeing what options I had. And then all of a sudden, it started revealing its faults, which were the loop got fucking annoying. I was like, holy shit, I barely got a chance to do what I wanted to do there because of the loop coming around so quickly. And that then led on to my next complaint, which was, this game should not be point and click. You should just be able to just walk around naturally, because the amount of goddamn times I went to like open a door and you might have locked it by mistake. And I'm like, every single time. Or you just
stand in a doorway or something.
Yeah.
No, I completely agree.
There's one particular moment where you can poison a drink for a purpose to give to someone else, and I fucking drank it myself by mistake, and you have no way out but just to play the loop through, or else go to sleep or try to leave the apartment. And then when those things happen, you're like, God damn it. And then, to be honest, the choices and the time that you have to figure out the story, it's asking a lot. Like, I was there scratching my head going, what the fuck else am I supposed to do?
So for me, there's a few things. So I think I said this to Adam off air. This for me has been the year of loop games. There's quite a few loop games this year for some bizarre reason. And there's always a danger with games like that it doesn't become the problem. Like, the mechanic of a loop doesn't become a frustrating problem. Like, repeating yourself becomes repetitive, right? It becomes boring. It becomes a barrier to enjoyment. And 12 minutes does, but also, like you say, because the loop's such a short time, it rushes you as well when you're trying to explore. The point and click, I completely agree, makes things take longer. And when you're up against the time, some things have a very small window that you have to do them in because of the order of people doing things in. So you're rushing around. There is a couple of shortcuts that the game takes, but there's not enough. And some of the point and clicks, one particular point and click puzzle bit is incredibly I thought was incredibly random, and I only figured it out by mistake because I was just clicking everywhere.
Yeah.
And then he suddenly went, oh, and I was like, oh, that's what you wanted me to do.
When you start seeing the introduction and knowing how you start the loop, there's a part where your wife comes out and greets you. Like, the amount of fucking times as each loop went by that I went to maybe try to get to the bedroom very quickly to get a certain thing, and she comes following you in to give you that hug. I'm like, fuck off! I don't have time for this.
Trying to get to the fridge, love. Can you just back off a second? Because I've got stuff to do.
All these things kills the whole discovery. It's on paper a great idea. Biggest disappointment, I'm unsure. I'm unsure about that. I just think I was disappointed in its overall layout. The loop does kind of kill it.
It's time to vote. Chaps,
Yeah.
it's time to vote. We'll go the same way we did before. We'll start with you, Lyle. Which one are you cutting out of Balan, 12 minutes, No More Heroes, and GTA?
I'm cutting 12 minutes.
Mick Fraser? Mick?
I'm cutting.
Dead air is no good for us.
I'm going to cut Balan Wonderland.
Wonderworld, but absolutely no problem.
Wonderworld, sorry.
Yep. Chris White?
No More Heroes because I never played it.
Okay. Adam Carroll?
Oh Jesus! Probably 12 minutes.
Chris Hyde? One day I'll get you
We're
two right the
cutting,
first
so
time.
this is
What are
not
you
a
gonna cut?
disappointment. So this is not a disappointment, yeah? Okay.
Yeah. Do you want to go back, Adam, and repick? No.
Because Chris, you said No More Heroes. Never played. I never played No More Heroes 2. But is it really that bad?
Well, we've still got 2 to cut, so we can have another round.
Yeah.
So Chris Hyde, what's your cut?
No More Heroes 3.
Okay, I'm going for 12 minutes. So 12 minutes is gone. Yes, agreed?
Yep.
And shall we do that one more time?
Does it mean that GTA is a lock?
Seems that way.
And so therefore we're just picking between 2?
Yeah. So we just got to vote one off, really. Are we happy with that?
Yeah.
Let's go back the opposite way then. I am going to pick Balan Wonderworld to cut. Chris Hyde?
I said No More Heroes before, I'll say it again.
Absolutely fine. Adam Carroll?
I'm gonna say fucking No More Heroes.
Chris White?
12 minutes.
That's already gone, but
Already gone, so...
All right.
Balan or No More Heroes?
I've already voted for No More Heroes. Can I vote for it again?
Yeah, it's a different round.
Yeah.
No More Heroes.
Mick?
I'll stick with Balan.
Oh, Lyle.
Oh, no, we're in it
Both
again!
games you reviewed.
I mean, I don't care. I haven't played either.
Right, Lyle,
You have the
reviewed
power to
both
stop
games.
this. You have the power to stop this.
You have the power to lock us in for another half an hour of arguments.
You literally have the power with your vote here to lock the top three in here, because whatever this wins, as it were, is number 3, because GTA, it's done.
Or, like I say, lock us into another round of discussions if he votes for Balan Wonderworld.
Yeah, I think. Thanks, Chris.
I was thinking about this as it was coming around to me, slowly panicking, and I do think I would pick No More Heroes.
Huzzah.
Sexy superstar.
As close to a consensus as we've had in the full day one. I guess the question then is, Balan is definitely number 3.
Mm-hmm.
I think eFootball's number 1. GTA's 2.
Yeah.
Where do we feel? How do we feel?
I agree with that order.
Yeah, I can't really complain with that. I don't really have much experience with 1 or 2, but from what I've seen and what I've heard, it just feels like that's the sort of right lay of the land, really.
Adam, Carol, Chris White?
No, I agree. eFootball
Yeah.
definitely number 1. Balan
Yeah.
definitely number 2.
I think we're there. Biggest
There we go.
disappointment in 3rd place, Balan Wonderworld. In 2nd place, Grand Theft Auto: The Trilogy Definitive Edition. I still hate that name. There must have been a better title they could have come up with. And the biggest disappointment of the year is eFootball 2022. R.I.P. Pez. And that is the end of day 1 of the deliberations. We've had top 5 best re-releases or remakes, nicest surprise, and the biggest disappointment. And tomorrow, on day 2, we will be discussing best audio and best visuals. So do come back to us then, where we'll be all wearing different clothes, because it's definitely a different day. It actually is. There might even be a Christmas tree up by then. Who knows? We just don't know. Someone might have a Christmas tree. Thank you ever so much for being here. I'm just going to say all of you rather than saying your names, because it's late and we've had a lot to drink. Thanks everyone for being here.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And everyone who's been with us on this journey, we really appreciate it. It's always fun, and we're all still friends. But it is only day 1, so stick with us. That may change. Thank you very much, and we will speak to you hopefully tomorrow, but if not, whenever you may choose to listen for day 2. Bye-bye for now.